This is Open All Mics
from BBC Radio Scotland.
You are listening to Sports Sound on BBC Radio Scotland. Welcome to listeners who are joining us on BBC Scotland. You can also watch us on the iPlayer, and there's a link on the BBC Sports Scot website. We have been on since 11:30 this morning. We brought you full coverage on a dramatic Old Firm derby, a great win for Celtic. As a result, surely now they will be crowned champions. Let's hear live now from the Celtic manager, Brendan Rodgers. He's with Kerradine at Sun.
Well, Brendan, what's an afternoon here at Celtic Park? Just to give me your take on it.
Well, a brilliant result. I think that Celtic Rangers games are always about winning, and the players gave everything into the game to get the result, and yeah, I'm so pleased for them.
Quite an opening to the game. There was that spell just before half-time where you got a couple of goals, and the first one in particular from Matt O'Reilly. That has just shown what he's done all season, isn't it? Yeah, I thought we were outstanding up until the penalty. Ironically, I thought we started the game so well. The energy in the stadium was absolutely incredible. The level of our football in a real tense atmosphere was really, really good. Before the goal came, we looked like we were getting there and had a couple of near misses. Went 2-0 up, switched off, totally switched off for their goal. They should never get in that moment. And then, like I said, but we started the second half well again. We're on the front foot. We're playing against 10 men. And that's my only downside of the game. We have to be much better in that moment, and because it's, you get a team sat in, takes a wee bit of energy out of us missing the penalty. And then we don't walk the ball well enough. And it's happened a few times now. So it's something that, as I said, is a big area for progress, which is great. 11v10, you'll take that at times, but we made the game there really tense at the end when there was absolutely no need for it to be in that place. But coming out of that, the tension that was in this type of game, the players to come through that, to beat Rangers for the third time this season, it's absolutely, I tip my hat to the players for the mentality and their ability to get the job done. When that final whistle went, the tension that you talked about evaporated. The fans here think you're champions. They're right, aren't they?
Well, no, we're not over the line yet, but we're in a great place. We've taken we get 6 points advantage with 2 games to go, and we get an extra goal difference onto the scoreboard as well. So I just said to the players, but we're not over the line yet. We're in an amazing position. That was the opportunity we had today to win the game, to put us in that place. The players have done that. Living rooms and bars and clubs throughout the world will be absolutely celebrating the victory, because that's what a Celtic Rangers game's about. And we now have to recover and then get ready and look to finish the job on Wednesday night.
Yes, a couple of chances to finish it Wednesday night. Rangers, if they don't win on Tuesday, that'll finish it. Then you've got St Mirren here. For you, it'll be the fact that you'll feel you're well worthy champions when it does come, because of the 3 derby wins here and your work across the season.
Well, I think that, I said before, it hasn't been a perfect season for us. Ideally, you'd want it to be, but it's not. But what I say about the players is they kept believing and they kept progressing. And when we've had those moments in the season where it has been a challenge, we stayed very unified, stayed very together. And as I said, you'll get your rewards at the end. And it's always the best team that will win after 38 games. So we're not there yet. The finish line is within touching distance. We're now just got to get over it. And hopefully we can do that on Wednesday.
And I just wondered as well, from a coaching point of view, how much you've enjoyed the challenge of this season, testing yourself and trusting yourselves. I think you've said that, you trust yourself, you trust your players, and that's been maybe a new experience in terms of your second stint here at Celtic.
Yeah, it's another experience. Yeah, there's no doubt. Professionally, it's been a challenge, and for so many reasons. But yeah, listen, I'm proud that all the experience that I've gained has allowed me to cope and deal with the situations that we've done. And it's a massive club where there's huge tension and pressure. But yeah, it is a challenge. But that's what football is. You're never going to get invincible trebles every season. It's just adapting to it and staying calm whenever things maybe aren't going how you would want. But as I said, for the staff and the players, they've been absolutely brilliant until this point.
but we still got work to do, and we've got to finish the season now with 2 games, 2 wins, and finish it well.
Yeah, just finally, no invincible treble, but chance of a double halfway to a double, which would be a terrific season, wouldn't it?
Yeah, 2/3, yeah. So, but yeah, we have. Yeah, but listen, we get 2 league games. The next one is the most important game. We then have the final game here against St Mirren, and then obviously a nice preparation week leading into the Scottish Cup final to end what would be a really good season for us. And I think people sometimes think it's easy, and a club like this here, it's never easy. You know, maybe because the standards that we set over the last numbers of years, that it's deemed that the treble is the norm. You know, when I came in here first, that wasn't the case. It was only done a small number of times in the history of this club. So the expectation level is so high here, but that's what we relish. That's why we are here. Celtic is an amazing club. We're here to achieve, and the players have nearly achieved now a great title. But we have to stay focused and hopefully finish the season really strong.
We appreciate your time. Thank you, and well done.
Thank you.
Yes, congratulations to Brendan Rodgers and his players. Surely job done. He has said consistently throughout the season, judge me at the end of the campaign, and yet again he has delivered as Celtic manager. We had to bring you that live reaction on Sports Sound before we go around the grounds again. Any goals anywhere who have been away with Brendan Rodgers? No, that sounds like a no, so let's go around the grounds. Let's kick off then at Tynecastle. Hearts are home to Dundee. Alan Preston is there for us. You were saying, Alan, big team news with Craig Gordon back in. Do you think now if he can get, the last few games of the season, 3 to go now, perhaps that could sway things in terms of the national squad for the Euros?
I think so. I honestly do. I think it could do. I think that's maybe why Stephen Naismith has given him this opportunity as well, to show that he is, you know, is a top goalkeeper. He always has been, and for me I would take him, but I'm not the Scotland manager. But I've got to say the atmosphere here today is magnificent. There's beach balls galore now that Hearts finally secured 3rd place last week. It's a real party atmosphere, and I've got to say, well, congratulations to Dundee as well. They look as if they've sold out their allocation. It's a wonderful afternoon in the capital city. Sun is shining. Great day for football.
And Alan, that's a very good point before I hand to Rory in Paisley, because we've spoken a lot this season about Scottish football, the drama, the stories, and the travelling supports we have seen. Yeah, chance there, Stephen?
Yeah, a huge chance for Motherwell. They've started really brightly. Sometimes when a team guarantees your safety, they take the foot off the gas, but they've started really well in the opening 2 minutes. Laidlaw had a smart save a couple of minutes ago, about 30 seconds into the game, but this time Andy Holladay's through 18 yards out, has a lovely strike, and Laidlaw manages to get it over the crossbar, and Ross County hanging on in the early stages, but 0-0.
Right, I was saying, Rory, we've spoken a lot this season. I think back to Ross County taking a huge support through to a game at Aberdeen. I think St Mirren taking a big support to Dundee, a big support to Kilmarnock. We've had Kilmarnock fans selling out their way in there. I know the home end is also sold out. It's a good product we've got in Scotland, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And you know, I think one of the guys here who I know from my time here had said they were looking to sell 50 tickets and the place would be sold out. It looks like they've done that from what I hear. So the place is absolutely bouncing, absolutely packed out, and you know, 2 sets of supporters who are coming expectant to see good football. The pitch is wonderful, I must say. Really, really good pitch. So it's been a terrific season for the 2 sides, Kenny. It really has. I don't see St Mirren, even if they win today, clawing back such a disadvantage over Kilmarnock, even with the goal difference as well. So
yeah, is that Willie?
Sorry, yeah, must be. I'm saying must be 3rd opportunity for St Johnstone. They really should be in the lead. Sadiba was there. He's 4 yards out. Surely he just puts it either side of the goalkeeper, Sean George. But he does make a really good save. Got to give George the credit for making the save. But Sadiba should have made it, the first goal. Before that, Stevie May had a header across from McPherson. Again, a very good header, glancing header towards the back post. Excellent save. Nicky Clapp put one over the bar from about 12 yards, not like him. So 3 big opportunities for St Johnstone, none taken.
Yeah, that big chance, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. He's got to score straight to the goalkeeper. Good knockdown, right enough, coming back across goal. But you're spot on, Willie. George does really well.
He spreads himself, he makes himself big.
He's almost a cross between right place at the right time.
Yes, Al.
It's a real great chance for Hearts there. Really good play. down the right hand side. It's a brilliant ball, Limbikisa to Vargas. He cuts it back to Forrest. That's a wonderful sliding challenge by Ryan Astley coming in there. Almost a goal for Hearts.
Well, I'm saying that what a great season it's been. Of course, that's not the case for St Johnstone fans. You're watching their game today. You were watching them last weekend away at Aberdeen. It seems a far more positive start. They were flat for long periods last week, weren't they?
I'll tell you what, we're only 8 minutes into this game and it's been brilliant. From a St Johnstone point of view, you know, the three forward-thinking players, they're on the front foot, they're taking it to Livingston. Livingston are a bit stunned. You know, if you're a St Johnstone player, if you could possibly see this replicated more often, then you wouldn't mind coming back and watching them. Unfortunately, that's not the case, and I've watched them too many times this season where it hasn't been the case. But, you know, they've started in sparkling form this afternoon. You know, Craig Levine is and I spoke to him before the game, and he said he was going to have a go. He's been true to his word.
Yeah, OK, thanks to Willie. He's at that game for us. You were also saying a positive start, Stephen Craigan, for the Wayside and Dingwall. Yeah,
after 3.5 minutes, Motherwell have had 4 attempts towards the goal. Laidlaw had the cross from the smart save from the Georgie Gent cross. Andy Halliday had the shot. Theo Bear had a shot just wide from a corner kick, and Jack Baldwin had to clear at the near post for Theo Bear ready to tap in. So Motherwell are playing with the freedom. Ross County look a little bit nervous. I mean, what I would say is their home form has been terrific since Don Cowie came in. 4 wins and 2 draws. Their away form not so good, 6 defeats in a row. So with 2 of your last 3 games at home, they must really fancy the chances.
It's Sadiba. Yeah, just one-way traffic here down the left-hand side. The ball comes into the box. Stevie May has a swipe at it, miskicks it completely. It falls for Sadiba. He slides in with the right foot and puts it into the roof of the net. They thoroughly deserve their lead here in Livingston. St Johnstone 1, Livingston 0.
That's a big goal, isn't it, Willie?
Huge.
He's unmarked at the back area. Really poor from Livingston. Actually, at a glance, you're thinking, is he offside because he's got so much time and space?
It's a game they want today as well, Michael, isn't it? St Johnstone have been really poor this season. We've had so many St Johnstone fans on. With one on last week, you just had enough. But you're up against a Livingston side now that are relegated, so you're perhaps not away from home's ideal, but in terms of opposition.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's terrible defending from Livingston's perspective. But it's just a sclaff. Stevie May, he's swiping it with his left foot to hit it on target, and he plays it straight into Sadiba's path, who can poke into the back of the net. But as Willie was saying there, it's been one-way traffic from the start of the game so far. St Johnstone thoroughly on top, and as much as it was a good slice of fortune with Stevie May's sclaff right to Sadiba, it's been deserved so far because Livingston have not been able to lay a glove on St Johnstone. Yeah, very good start for St Johnstone. A very warm welcome to Barry Wilson. Good afternoon, Barry. It's been a while since we've had you on Sports Sound, but this is going to be a tense and nervy game for you today.
Kenny, good afternoon. Yes, it's very tense up here in Inverness. I mean, you can feel the tension there. They've got a corner just now. Inverness have started quite well today. A couple of chances, a couple of long-range efforts, one for Cammy Harper and one from Alex Samuel. But yeah, it's such a nervy occasion. I mean, I was just checking here, I was 19.
Oh, what a nightmare!
Yes, Stephen.
Oh, what a horrendous goal. I think it's that Liam Kelly plays a really long ball over the top. Ross County are trying to play high. Blair Spittle chases it down. Ross Laidlaw comes out to the edge of his box, picks it up and fumbles it at the feet of Blair Spittle, who just rolls it into an empty net. When you're in a relegation battle, you're under pressure. That is not what you need. They've been nervous, I'd said it. Motherwell have been the dominant team. They could have had a couple of goals up to now, but what a horrendous individual error by Ross Laidlaw. He hands Motherwell the lead on a plate, 1-0 to the visitors.
You're spot on, Craigs. It's not the type of error you want when you're in that position in the league table. I was watching it, developing it as you had kind of brought it to your attention, and I'm looking at it. It's an absolute shocker from Laidlaw. It's so much time, he just gets it completely wrong. You can see his body language as he was walking away a moment or two ago, completely dejected. He knows he's let the side down. Not a bad assist right enough from Liam Kelly.
But you know what, see, he picked the ball up. I could see the Ross County backline squeezing up. It's something they must have pinpointed, because the minute he picked it up, he waited and waited. Blair Spittle took off, and it was basically a punt up the middle of the pitch, completely opened up the back three of Ross County, and you know, they'll be hugely disappointed, because that's a dreadful goal to give away considering the position they're in. Of course, St Johnstone going ahead as well. The two meet on Wednesday night in Perth. Wow, it's all set up lovely.
Yeah, full coverage of that one on Sports, and we've got an open all mics that night. It's also live on the TV, so a significant chain of events here in the past few minutes. Just back to yourself, Barry Wilson, Inverness. How concerning would it be if Inverness can't retain their championship status?
Really worrying, Kenny. I mean, you know what, the chairman's already came out and basically asking for money from sponsors to pay to bring it in from early for next season. So obviously financially they're strapped at the minute. The battery farm project fell through, that they were hoping for millions. That seems to have fell through at the minute. So dipping to League One would just be catastrophic for the club.
Yeah, we will find out what happens in that game at home to Montrose this afternoon. Goals elsewhere in the English Premier League. West Ham United 0, Luton Town 1. Lukonga with a goal on 6 minutes. Now we'll get to Callum Davidson. He is covering the playoff match for us. Hamilton Atkins against Alloa. I can tell you Alloa are ahead there. Quinn Coulson on 7 minutes. Just confirmation, Sidibe with the opening goal for St Johnstone on 8 minutes away at Livingston. And Blair Spittle also in 8 minutes with that goal for Motherwell. Is that another chance, Willie?
Oh, a huge one for McPherson this time. Cross from the right hand side. He meets it about maybe 14 yards out, and he gets it with the right foot, and you know it's controlled, but he puts it by the post. It looks much more easier to actually put it in between the sticks. And I've got to apologise because I've had text from some guy that wore a very strange shirt at the weekend there to say it's Sidibe and not Sidiba.
Yep, Sidibe with a goal there. Also a goal, Spartans 1-0 up away at Peterhead. That's in the playoffs today. Cammy Russell with that early goal there. So let's get back to Tynecastle. Alan Preston.
Another opportunity.
We'll sit back.
It's just a cross into the box again, and it bounces in front of Sidibe, and he should again put it away from George. Good goalkeeping again from George. He dies to his left hand side, puts it round the post, but they are getting pummeled, Livingston, here this afternoon. It's only 1-0, but it could have easily been 4 or 5.
So he got me thinking there with the shot. I think I've just got it. Who do you think he was talking about?
Well, I've got no idea, but my logical guess would be Stephen Thompson.
I think that could be the one. I think he was getting a bit of stick on sports scene. I thought it was very trendy, I have to. It was all right though, wasn't it? Well, he's not having it at all. Right, let's get to Alan Preston. What's happening there at Tynecastle, Al?
Hearts are playing some nice football, but Dundee on the break, they're hitting the ball long. Hearts are 1-on-1 there with the Rolls. Bakayoko, and they've won a corner, Dundee. I've got to say, Kenny, it's absolutely roasting. It's glorious here. This is another beach ball comes on. It's ridiculous. But, you know, Dundee have got something to play for. They're hoping to try and catch it. Man, it's got to be a big ask, but they've still got a chance. As well, Hearts, it's just a cruise to see through the end of the season now. But it's been a decent start from both sides. 0-0.
What's happening in Paisley, Rory? Great news for St Mirren fans this week with Gogic signing that new deal. There was a lot of concern that he would be moving on, but great business by the club.
Yeah, great business by the club, and Hemming just had a bit of a shaky moment there. Hit a clearance off Vassell, but lucky for him it went over his crossbar for a goal kick. St Mirren have been the better side up to this point. And Alex Gogic, yeah, absolutely. And I think it's as well, it's a testament to if your club's successful, players will want to stay. Oh, it's a chance for Olasanya, who's been impressive over the last few weeks. It's actually a good chance, I think, but he absolutely blazes it over the bar on the volley. Alex Gogic, again, I think...
Simon Murray's through 1-on-1, trying to cut in, Rory. Is it going to be 13 for the season? And it has! Oh, I mean, I spoke about Motherwell cutting open the Ross County back line with a simple ball over the top. The exact same thing has happened. I'm not too sure who played it from midfield, but the Motherwell back three were open. The pace of Simon Murray, the composure, 12 league goals coming into this one, and he makes it 13 minutes gone, and it's Ross County 1, Motherwell 1.
Where's the Motherwell defence?
They're miles off it, Michael. I mean, it's doing the complete transition, but they're so wide open, no structure underneath the ball at all. And when you've got pace like Simon Murray up top, that's the threat that he carries.
We spoke about him last week, Michael, didn't we? He's having a terrific campaign, and we spoke about the striking options that Don Cowie has up there.
Yeah, and they've obviously got great confidence. You heard Stevie Craigan talking about the record at home that they've got under Don Cowie. So even though it's pressure cooker stuff, they go 1-0 down at home, they've still got that bit of belief that they can get something from the game. By the way, it's a lovely ball through. As much as the defence is wide open, it's still a perfectly weighted ball. And I mean, what can you say about Simon Murray? It's just he's on a rich vein of form, and he's a guy that you know when you're in that position where you're battling out at the bottom of the table, you want somebody that knows how to stick the ball in the back of the net, and he certainly knows how to do that at the moment.
What do you guys think about the business done by St Mirren this week? Gogic signing that 3-year deal.
Really good signing.
How highly do you rate him as a player? Because a lot of people think he could perhaps have gone to even a bigger club again.
Well, potentially. I just think even when you look at the fact that he's a player that's left Hibs.
Yeah.
You know, when you look at the player that he's become for St Mirren, the heart of defence. Say that again.
He's a good fit for St Mirren.
Really good. I know at times that's what it takes, but I've always liked him. And Willie and I watched him internationally at Hampden one evening. I think we're really impressed internationally, and that's again what Stephen Robinson looked at, was the fact that he plays at the heart of defence for his national team, and he does it really, really well. At Hibs, he was always in the middle of the pitch, but he's a solid 7, 8 out of 10 every single week. I don't think you can really ever fault him. I think he had an error maybe last weekend. Other than that, he's had a brilliant season.
Yeah, very good bit of business, Rory. In terms of the game there, what's happening in the early stages?
Oh well, Vassell and Gogic, it's quite the wrestling match at times. They're both so strong, and Vassell's wanting to back in, and it's giving Gogic a hard time, to be fair, and Watkins is no shrinking violet either, so it's a good physical contest up there, and Mandarin's given the Kilmarnock backline the same. It's been a pretty evenly contested game. St Mirren had the better of the opening exchanges. No real clear-cut opportunities so far, both teams feeling each other out. It's been an entertaining game so far, but not much goal-mouth action, Kenny.
A few technical issues in one of the playoff games we're covering for you this afternoon. Hamilton Accies at home to Alloa. Callum Davidson is there for us. We'll hopefully hear from him shortly. Alloa went ahead early on. Accies have just equalised. Regan Tumulty with a goal on 18 minutes. That's 1 apiece there, 3 apiece on aggregate. Brighton 1-0 up away at Newcastle United. Veltman with a goal on 18 minutes. And also, I brought you the goal news earlier on. Luton Town, they had scored 1-0 up away at West Ham United. Lokonga with that goal on 6 minutes. Let's then get back to the game in Inverness, Barry, because we've got an Inverness Cali Thistle fan coming on later, and you know yourself living up there. There was huge excitement when Duncan Ferguson got the job, and initially he did quite well, but it's just not gone well in recent weeks. I've seen a lot of fans, Barry, very critical of the style of play up there.
Yeah, well, funny Ken, this is actually the first game I've been to since we left in September, myself and Billy.
Yeah.
And you know, this change of style was very noticeable. Both teams today are playing 3-5-2 with a sort of sitting midfielder, and the changes that Duncan's made from Tuesday night, it actually looks more defensive than anything. I'm looking at Alex Samuel up front himself. Billy Mackay, who's meant to be playing up front, is picking up the ball in the left back area, the right back area, and I really don't see too much sort of flair or you know, much prowess going forward from Inverness in the first 15-20 minutes as well. You know, chances have been 2 from 25 yards, so yeah, you can probably see where the fans are, where they're coming from. It's a lot of possession. They pass the ball about really nicely, but there's been 0 end product so far, and it sounds like it's been the story of the majority of the season.
Yeah, a lot of fans have been on to us, very unhappy. We'll be joined, as I say, by a fan later in the programme. Between 5:30 and 7 o'clock, fans will have their voice. Lots of clubs represented on the programme tonight. Also reaction from our pundits and from the managers. A full-time score from the lunchtime kick-off in England. Fulham 0, Manchester City 4. Surely they are cruising towards another league title down there. Pep Guardiola's side, although Arsenal running them very, very close again this season. The wayside, Willie still very much in control through there at Livingston.
Yeah, Livingston have got themselves into it a little bit. You know, in terms of possession, they haven't had any real opportunities.
Chance! Great save!
Yes,
brilliant save. Great. Shanklin to the back post. Vargas with a header. Really good save by McCracken. Beats it away. First proper chance of the match. Decent enough effort. Could have headed it down? I don't know. You'll be able to tell me in the replays there, but it's a good save.
Maybe biscuits, but still a good effort on goal, and I think he does well going back across, forces the save.
Just seen some quick pictures of the away support there, Willie. A decent support through there from St Johnstone this afternoon.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you how many. I'm not familiar with the stand here and how you would assess it, but there is, yeah, on the far side opposite us, there's quite a number of St Johnstone supporters that's made the journey through. So, you know, and they've been well treated. You know, I think if they could see this kind of a style every Saturday, they'd be more than happy. Certainly, if I could see this style up in the northeast, then I would be more than happy. You're quite right, Alan. You know, I mean, it's just you know, we've always got one striker that we can rely on, but. We won't go into that. Won't go into that at this moment.
Simon Murray, Theo Bair, they've all got.
We'll leave you in your glory.
Ten a penny they ones
so
now.
Happy for you.
Right, Alan, do you think you'll have Lawrence Shanklin starting next season?
Yeah, I do. I think they will. Yeah, I think Lawrence Shanklin.
Oh, what a save that is!
Yes, Rory.
I think it's been given offside, but look at this save from Hemming in the Kilmarnock goal. He doesn't know it's offside. He takes it, it's a bicycle kick. He swivels and shoots. Not quite sure who it was. It might have been Olasanya, was it? And it's an unbelievable save from Hemming, reaction save. It's offside, but still, the save definitely deserves a mention.
Yeah, it was a fantastic save there from the goalkeeper. Just watching it again here. Yeah, fantastic one-handed save there. As Rory said, it was offside. So, Alan, you are confident that Lawrence Shanklin...
Confident. No, but I think there could be an opportunity for him to stay. And I think he'll sign an extension, no. But I think he could see his contract out at Hearts, which they've got one more window to sell him in, which will be the summer window coming up. And if they decide not to sell him, or there's not a suitable offer coming in for him, then he'll certainly be here. You know, but I can see him running his contract out and leaving, something like John Souttar did.
How on earth, Michael, do they replace the goals if he does go in the summer? Player of the year.
Incredibly difficult, because you know that type of player costs millions and millions. So, you know, for Hearts, it's a tough one if they're to lose him. You know, you look around the game domestically at the moment, and I wouldn't say there's an obvious alternative, even, you know, if you were to try to take a gamble on somebody in the lower leagues that is, you know, does a job. You could think, right, we'll give him an opportunity to step up. Even like, you know, Kevin Nisbet a few years ago that went to Hib. Yeah. Somebody you thought to yourself, by the way, there's an opportunity there. So there's not anybody that springs to mind that you would say there's somebody that's worth going and spending a few quid on to try and replace him with. So to answer your question, it'd be incredibly difficult to replace, you know, somebody like that, because he's improved his all-round game. You know, he's a great goal scorer. His all-round plays is very important, and he's obviously the captain of the team as well.
Yeah, it was a full house last weekend on Sports Sound when we asked who should be named Player of the Year, and he duly won the award on Sunday night. Congratulations to Lawrence Shanklin. Now, apologies for the quality of the line here, but we have made contact with Callum Davison. Good afternoon, Callum. You're watching Hamilton Accies against Alloa.
Good afternoon, Kenny. How are we doing? Glad to actually speak. You know, it's actually been a really entertaining game. Alloa started really brightly, got the goal. Great work by Taylor Stephen down their right-hand side, cut the ball across, and Coulson smashed it into the roof of the net, and then Hamilton responded really well. Great corner, back post, really poor marking, and Regan Tumulty fired into the roof of the net. So quite an even game here. Lovely day, but no, quite enjoyable to watch. But glad to be involved in the show.
Fantastic. And what about, just talk to us about, I know it's not a great line, Callum, but just the experience you've had at Queen's Park. Job done, it was quite nervy at the end, but you kept them up and looking obviously to kick on now next season.
Yeah, definitely. I think it was delighted when I took over where we got to. So a great effort for the boys. I think obviously used a bit of experience I had St Johnstone, kept that positivity there, and the lads have performed really well since I was in. So hopefully we can kick on and repeat that type of form. And hopefully that means we'll be in the playoffs or pushing for promotion next season.
I was half expecting you to be going through a tunnel after you got asked that question.
Can't hear you. But the thing is, Callum signed well, didn't he? He brought real experience into that side. Did a good job.
I think.
On you go, Callum.
I think it was important that we did that. I think it's a real young group. It's a club that are going to try and produce youngsters, but you need the wee bit of experience there just to help them. You know, and I think the colour signs we brought in were really good. I thought Sean Welsh was outstanding. You know, he really helped the lads settle down, especially in the middle of the park, and I think that's how you try and help those young kids coming through.
Yeah, when I saw Queen's Park at the start of the season, in the League Cup, and then also, you know, in the Championship, that was the thing that stuck out for me, was that good young players, but there was very little experience there. So as much as you want to you know, develop the youngsters, as Callum's talking about there has to be a blend to the team. Otherwise, the despondency will set in if you're getting gubbed every week.
I think we spoke about this, Leanne. I'm pretty sure you said that with the previous manager and with that young squad, he was asking these players to do things perhaps they were not capable of doing, but ready to do. They were getting caught out a lot, weren't they?
Yeah, look, I can understand any manager and coach that's got an identity in the way they want their side to play, and I think there is a balance to that. You've got to have the players to do it. I just felt at times watching Queen's Park they were being asked to play in a certain way, and then also if they got it wrong they were being punished for it, i.e. substitutions before half time and players getting hooked for making mistakes, whereas if you're asking players to play and be brave, then they will make mistakes, particularly if they're young players, and it's a brilliant division, I think, to go and compete in the Championship, but also to learn and to be able to play young players and to give them that experience. Callum's absolutely got a better balance. I think Queen's finished the season in a much better position than they found themselves at the midway point.
Who do you fancy?
Break at Tynecastle, Kenny.
Right,
What a break.
What a break
for
surely
everybody.
not.
Honestly, it's roasting here.
Ridiculous.
It's a nonsense. These are sitting in a nice air-conditioned studio. I'm melting here.
This is roast. I'm going to take the shirt off in a minute. I'm going to try not to show my belly when I do it.
Please don't, but I would argue.
Please don't.
No, it's televised, Kenny. It's
I know. I'll go behind the cameras early just to protect everyone, I think.
They're just having
Kenny,
a water break at Paisley as well, Alan. And can I just say as well, I was talking about credit and a good save, even though it was offside, and I credit it to the man who was standing watching at the other end. It was actually Will Dennis with the save, of course, not former Kilmarnock player Hemming.
Newcastle United.
Just to get back to your Championship chat, well, we're having a water break here. I think if, as a norm, as it's been over a long period of time, the Premiership side stays up. There's only been a couple of times that the Championship sides won through the playoffs. If that's the case, there is no definite favourite next year in the Championship. Last year, obviously, going into this season, Dundee United, Dundee, Hearts have been there, Hibs have been there, Rangers have obviously been there, Dundee United and Dundee have swapped at times as well. So there's always been that favourite. I don't think there's a favourite if a St Johnstone or a Ross County don't go down.
Oh no, the shirt. Oh, sorry, Alan, the shirt's come off. Thankfully, he's got a t-shirt on.
Yeah, that would have to come with some sort of warning. I'm not even sure that would be enough.
But you're right though, Alan, it'll make for a really competitive Championship next season, the fact that there's not an expected runaway winner.
And you've got Alexi Falkirk coming up. Right. They'll fancy their chances as well. So I think if a team, just as you're talking about at the other end of the Scottish Premiership, Celtic spending wisely, I think the same at the Championship where money's really tight. But if you can get in some quality signings, you could be the favourites for
Looking
that title.
at Airdrie as well, I mean, if they manage to keep Rhys McCabe and he continues to go the way that he's going, he's building something really, really impressive at Airdrie, I think.
See,
and it'll come down to recruitment, but
see if they don't keep him, because there's obviously going to be interest in Rhys McCabe. We speak a lot about him in this programme. Where would you see potentially, what sort of level would his next move be? Do you see him clearly getting into the Premiership?
Possibly, because I think what he's got is that clear identity, and it's been proven that it works. And I think what he's got, Faddy and I spoke about it at the game last night at Airdrie, he's got a huge say in recruitment at Airdrie. He controls a hell of a lot of that. I think he has a huge influence with the fact that he still played this season. I don't think he would be able to continue doing that if he jumped up to the Premiership. Would he get that same level of control elsewhere? Probably not. Would he get that same level of influence? Probably not. But I think he has been really, really impressive in terms of his decision making, the way he's got his team playing. Even his in-game management, I think, is impressive at times. The way that he's chopped and changed it, he's tweaked the system. He's get more out of certain individuals as well. It'll be interesting to see where his career goes. But Airdrie, I think, look how well they've done this season, being the newly promoted side as well. What could they do next season if they go and recruit and they continue to strengthen the group? And it's another season that Rhys McCabe will have under his belt as a manager. I know, Michael, you've been really impressed by the job that he's doing. Would you have any doubts at all that he's ready to step up? No, none whatsoever. If I was a top flight team, I'd be looking, and if there was a question mark over your manager, it's one of the first people I'd be looking to speak to. Top class, very impressive. He's only 31, 32, so in his infancy in his coaching and managerial career, but everything that just Leanne spoke about there, that changes the formation, but still, there's a clear identity of what they're trying to do. If you put a Brian Graham into the Airdrie side, it's a different kettle of fish completely. I said that last night in commentary, that it's the one thing they really lack, and no disrespect to the likes of Gabby McGill and Todorov and O'Connor and McGregor and Gallagher and all these guys that are up the top end. None of them are out and out goal scorers. I don't think any of them have reached double figures, this season. So that tells you the difference. If they had somebody that was capable of, and look, you can say that about any team, but
in particular, I think with an Airdrie, with the way that they build the game into that final third, if they had somebody that was able to put the ball in the back of the net, they would be, potentially have been, in the hunt along with Wraith and Dundee United, a lot closer to the top of the table there. But so to go back to answer the question about Rhys McKay, I don't think it'll be long before he's in the top flight.
The only thing that could potentially hinder him now is that I don't know what badges he's got in terms of...
He's not got any.
None at all.
He's not got any.
Well,
but apparently he's...
Which just makes a mockery of having your badges, Michael. If you can go and coach a team and
put them into the playoffs, Crags, isn't it?
And we're raving here about his tactics and how he changes things. Because he doesn't have a bit of paper, he can't go and manage it a certain
James
level,
and I spoke about it last night. Crags, it was, and it's really difficult. Like, he's not to say that he doesn't want to attain his badges and be part of that. Or
no, he does. He does. He actively does, but he's just he's been coming up against roadworks and blocks to being able to do it, which again speaks into what Craig's
talking about.
He's
trying to find the time for him as well to do them. He's a full-time manager at a football club, and the rules have changed. You used to get your C licence given to you if you were a professional football player. Now I think you've got to play in the top flight for about 6 or 7 years to get it, and then you go on to your B. So it's
having to start lower down the ladder. But I mean, look, for me, I understand you've got to have systems in place, but equally I think there should be an element of discretion. And if we're all sitting here talking about how you can see the guy is knows what he's doing, I think there needs to be a recognition and a wee bit of a fast track, and the guy knows what he's doing. If you go and put him on a coaching course, seriously, that's not going to teach him anything he's not learning day to day in his own job. I think
that's really important. Callum, what's it like, Callum, facing that Airdrie side? What challenges do they present?
I think what I really liked about him is he mixed it up. He never just passed it. He played a couple of different ways. He went quite direct. I watched 2 or 3 games, so they just went really direct. Other times they actually played out from the back. So I think it's that balance. If you talk about Rhys, for me, I think it's really important. He's one of Scotland's young top coaches, so we have to look after him as well. We can't be quick to, if he loses 4 or 5 players in the window this year, it's hard for him to do. I think we have to keep making sure we look after him and make sure we progress these young coaches, because he's a talent, and actually played against him on the Friday night. He had to leave halfway through because his wife was giving birth. So he had to leave the game. That's another story. But I think for me, the thing with Rhys is, I think we've got to make sure we protect these good young coaches, make sure we have a pathway for them to get to that top level, because that's where we want to see him. I think he's proved himself so far, and hopefully that can continue.
I'll get your thoughts in a minute or two. Who is going to go up from the Championship? Of course, part of this will now play Wraith Rovers. Yes.
Can I just say on Rhys as well? I know Rhys, I've known him for a long time, and he beat St Mirren in the League Cup a couple of seasons ago, and I caught up with him afterwards, and he wasn't long in the job, and he pretty much said exactly what he was going to do and how he was going to do it way back then. So to see it come to fruition, because I'm sure managers come into jobs with the best ideas and the best intentions in the world, but actually putting it into practice is difficult. But he spoke about how he wanted more footballing teams in the league, because that would work into the way he wanted to play. So to see him talk about that so long ago, but actually be able to go and execute it at such a young age is tremendous.
Yes, it's a great story. Spurs 0, Burnley 1. Brun Larson with a goal there. Wolves 0. Now Crystal Palace 2. Elise with the first. Mateta with the second. In the Pyramid Playoff Final first leg, East Kilbride 1, Stranraer 0. Andy Stirling with a goal on 32 minutes. The second leg is next Saturday. Everton 1, Sheffield United 0. Dakuri on 31 minutes. Spartans now 2-0 up away at Peterhead. Blair Henderson with a goal there on 30 minutes. Spurs have just equalised. Pedro Porro with a goal there. 1 apiece there. So let's get back round the grounds. Let's start with the game in Inverness, because it's such a big one there. Barry talked about the concerns what the fans have for the club should they drop down into League One. What's happening on the pitch there today, Barry?
Well, the natives are getting restless, Kenny, that's for sure. I mean, for the last 10-15 minutes my head has hardly moved. I'm watching the middle third of the pitch. I'm watching Inverness go side to side, in a little bit, back out again, back to the start. Really no cutting edge about the play at all. Montrose quite happy to just let them have it, go long a couple of times and try and support and get on second balls. But I mean, in terms of chances, when neither keeper had a save to make, and you can, like I said, the more I'm watching it, the more I can understand why, the fans aren't happy.
Yes, Vargas for Hearts. Dundee aren't happy. They think he might be offside. Really good play by Mackay. He chops a couple of times. The defender ends up going on his backside. Mackay plays it at the back post. There's Vargas stretching with his right foot, knocking it in the back of the net. Didn't look tight. Have a look at it.
It's just a wee screen in the corner, but my initial reaction was that he was onside. He just goes round the back. When Mackay checks in and eventually clips that ball. So my gut would be that he's onside, but we may well get the 5-minute delay and realises that he's a millimetre or two off.
A better angle with this one here, Michael.
That chance elsewhere?
Chance here for Montrose. It was he's offside. I think it's Lyons that's turned it in from across from Williamson. A little bit like the goal last night, Mikey, where Brian Graham scored from probably a yard offside. Exactly like that, but this linesman is a little bit sharper. Offside, still 0-0.
Yeah, it was funny after the game how Brian Graham Faddy tried to tell him that just off, I think he was saying. But it was interesting that last night actually watching the game, you know, because you're so used to VAR stopping the game. Yeah. But I think that the general feeling is you'd rather not have VAR and just continue, and there's going to be the odd mistake. There's always been.
Good tackle. Thought Mandarin was through there, but a fantastic tackle by Robbie Dees. I thought he was going to bear down one-on-one there. Fantastic saving tackle. Yeah, still 0-0.
I think everybody enjoys the game without VAR.
Goals given at Tynecastle.
Yeah, he looked on, Alan, the replay that we've seen from a better angle. Everybody enjoys the game without VAR until there's an outrageous decision that goes against a team. And we all want VAR, you know, and there's an unjust. So we don't have the balance of what's right and wrong just now. And when you get to enjoy football games, certainly the Championship, the playoff games, you get to enjoy them. You thoroughly enjoy them because you need to just accept the fact that the decision on the night, the referee's decision, will stand, and it is what it is. And who would have denied Brian Graham that goal last night? You know, Firhill erupts, the place erupts. It's a brilliant night of football. Credit to Airdrie. I thought they were excellent in working their way back into the game after the sucker punch just after half time as well. But Michael's right, when it comes to Airdrie, the difference between them and Partick Thistle is that they don't have a Brian Graham at the top end of the pitch, and I said that last night as well.
I'll get your thoughts shortly. Who goes through the next tie? That is, of course, Partick Thistle against Wraith Rovers. Let's get to Paisley. A full house there this afternoon, Rory. Have they been treated to a decent game?
It started well, but it's probably went downhill slightly. It's a midfield battle. Not a lot of quality as Stuart Finlay passes it straight out the pitch. You know, two good sides, but they're kind of cancelling each other out at the moment. Midfield, David Watson right up against Mark O'Hara. You've got Liam Donnelly in there against Boyd Munce, and you know, no one can really get a lot of space to make things happen. Olasanya looks, and McMenamin looks at times like they can make something happen, but it's never really came to fruition, and Vassell and Watkins are battling away. So whilst I expected probably a little bit more quality, you know, both sides haven't created enough to really warrant a lead at the moment, so it's still 0-0.
Early goals for you in Dingwall, Stephen Craigan. Who's looking the more likely to add to the tally?
I have to say it's the home side. There has been a little bit of a lull in the game. That Motherwell started brightly, got the goal. Ross County hit back very quickly, and since then Motherwell have they've given the ball away too easy. They've tried too many long balls. Simon Murray's went close. Conor Randall had a lovely little run down the left-hand side that Shane Blaney cleared off the line. So you would have to say it's a home side, but it's interesting you're talking about
must be this time. Oh, Vassell's taking a touch. Oh, good finish. Good composure. Armstrong releases Watkins down the right-hand side. He cuts it back. I'm thinking Vassell's going to tap it in. He takes a touch back across his body and boots it into the back of the net for 1-0 Kilmarnock.
He boots it into the back of the net. That's exactly what he does. Just looking at it coming across, I think he takes a touch, Rory, doesn't he, and then smashes it right into the roof of the net. Good play. Who was it down the right-hand side, did you say?
It was Watkins. Armstrong stole a pass in the middle of the pitch, sprinted forward, played Watkins down, he cut it back. Vassell took a touch and finished. Yeah.
Good play.
Great season to be a Kilmarnock fan. They are heading for Europe. A Killie fan will join us later in the programme. Let's get to Willie Miller. Anything at all from Levy through there, Willie?
Yeah, they fought back, Kenny. You know, they've had 2 or 3 opportunities. Montagno, that back post, Nubley with a strike at a tight angle, and then Yenge with a long range strike that was well saved. So they are back in the game. You know, that very quick start from St Johnstone's faded a little bit. They're still dangerous in the break, but there's no doubt.
Oh, it's given a penalty for handball here at Tynecastle. It's a shot. Have a look at this one, Michael.
I've not seen it, but it's not a penalty.
I didn't think so. I can't believe it. It's taken ages. He's actually... Kingsley's saying it's hit him in the chest, and he's picked the ball up and thrown it out for a corner. He's saying it's a corner. The referee's given a penalty.
Kingsley's given a corner. Nick Walsh is clearly looking for a bit of feedback from the VAR team. We'll get a better look at it. We've got it right behind the ball. That doesn't look like a penalty for me, Michael, does it?
No.
Looks like his arm's tucked in by his side.
Looks like it comes off his midriff.
Yeah. Even if it comes off his arm to me in that first viewing, looks like it's...
Goal!
Yes!
Oh, to goal for the visitors. It's Paul McGinn. And if Ross Laidlaw had a shocker for the first one, he's had an absolute shocker for the second one as well. It's a cross, a free kick from the left-hand side from Georgie Gent. Laidlaw comes in amongst players, fumbles it, drops it at the feet of Paul McGinn, and he taps it in. Just when Ross County looked at grabbed hold of the game, they were in the ascendant seat. They're suddenly trailing by 2-1.
And referee Nick Walsh is away to go and have a look at it. He couldn't wait to give it. Literally couldn't wait. And you see the Kings' reaction. He grabs the ball and goes, no, and rolls the ball out for a corner to Dundee. That's what he's done. The referee's now been called over. He's running over to the far side.
Right, we'll get an update on that.
Wait to give it.
We'll get an update. Callum, I know it's a bad line. Something happened in your game, Callum.
Yeah, it was a ball for Hamilton. Great work by O'Hara down right hand side. Split it across. Smith fired into the net, so I can't hear you. Smith fired into the net, and in the sort of aftermath of it, Neil's been sent off for Alloa. I'm not sure what for, so Alloa now a goal down and a man down. I'll need to clarify why he's been sent off. It was a straight red card, so it looks like he's probably said something to the FB, so it's an uphill struggle for Alloa now.
Yeah, I'm just going
to say, see when you look at that penalty that was given at Tynecastle, Nick Walsh has probably got 3, maybe 4 players between him and the ball. He's guessing.
Do you think so?
No, there's no doubt.
See that picture there? Did it not look like
penalty?
It's not a penalty.
It's not been given yet.
Can you see why he gave it?
I know, because he's guessing. That's what VAR's for. He doesn't know that hits his arm, because it doesn't, because it's not a penalty.
You don't think it looks like it?
He can't even tell, because there's 4 players between him and the ball. That's well, thankfully, it's not given. That's a poor decision from the referee.
Well, he must be guessing, Michael, because it's definitely not hit his arm.
Yeah. But I think it's what I mean as well. He's not got a line of sight on it.
Yeah.
He's got 4 players between him and the ball.
Leanne, is there an offside check? There is an offside check for the goal in Dingwall.
Ross Laidlaw is probably praying. Because
he's actually over checking the monitor just to make sure.
I mean, what a shocker. You were right, Craigs. An absolute shocker.
He comes out looking for it, doesn't he? Gets nowhere near it.
No, goal's been given. Yeah, you're right. Laidlaw came amongst bodies. He seemed to catch the ball and fumble it and drop it. And you know, another thing strange is happening here. There's been 3 goals, and every time there's a goal scored, they change the ball.
They've been doing a thing for charity, I think, over the last number of weeks. Yeah, every time a goal's scored, I think they take the ball, they sign it.
The ball was soft or something. There you go.
Nah, they brought in a few weeks ago, Craigs, a new thing just to raise some money for charity. But as long as it doesn't hold up the game, that's what the referees were told. But they seem to be working quite well with it.
You see,
I think it's Ross holding up the ball.
Ross Laidlaw coming for that. Yeah, I mean, he's coming into, but it's not like he's having to get through players to get to the ball. The ball's there. He's jumping. He's got his arms in the air to be able to punch it. He's having a day to forget so far.
And just a reminder, it's very, very tight for that playoff place at the bottom. Sports Sound on air, open all mics on Wednesday. Tuesday evening, Rangers at home to Dundee. Wednesday evening, the other 5 games, full coverage on open all mics. We're live on BBC Scotland. You can get us in the iPlayer. You can also get a link to watch us on the BBC Sports Scot website. You can also do that right now. We're on the television channel until 5:30 this evening, and Sports Sound remains on air on the radio until 7 o'clock for fan reaction, manager reaction, and also pundit reaction. So in the Premiership, the lunchtime kickoff, Celtic 2, Rangers 1. It's Hearts 1, Dundee 0, St Mirren 0, Kilmarnock 1, Livingston 0, St Johnstone 1, Ross County 1, Motherwell 2. We will bring you, I'm not sure if I can go. Callum, can you hear me? I know Callum's on the phone today, so it's really difficult for him to hear us and for us to hear Callum. He's still there, Callum?
Yeah, still there, yeah.
Yeah, so just an update. So Aki's now in control of that game, 2-up against 10 men.
Yeah, I think Neil's been sent off. I think somebody said for the FB after the goal's gone in. Again, somebody you don't really need as a manager. You know, it's such a big, important game. So again, Alloa have now switched to 4-3-2. So again, a man down, and such a hot day here, obviously, in the AstroTurf. Hamilton have just kept the ball. Not long now to half time. So again, Alloa starts so well. Hamilton have slowly come back into the game, and now they're in control. It's going to be a tough ask for Alloa to get into this game.
Yeah, so Hamilton Accies 2, Alloa 1 on the day. That makes it 4-3 to Accies on aggregate. Goal goalless in the first game. Montrose were at home to Inverness. Cali Thistle at home this afternoon. Barry Wilson, what's happening there?
The referee's just blown his half-time whistle, Kenny. It has been so far it's a bore draw. It's 0-0 Inverness. Very little chances. The one chance for Montrose turned it in, Lions turned into the net, but was just strayed just offside. Inverness, a couple of long-range efforts and one boy's header over the bar to show for the 45 minutes of work. So 0-0 here in Inverness.
Thank you to the guys there in the League One playoffs. So on the day it is Spartans 2, Peterhead 0. So that is 4-1 to Spartans on aggregate. Stirling Albion 0, Dumbarton 0, Dumbarton 2-1 up on aggregate in that one. And there's just been an equaliser in the Pyramid Playoff Final first leg, and that equaliser has come from Sean McIntosh for Stranraer into first half stoppage time. East Kilbride 1, Stranraer 1. So let's get to the game through at Livingston. A very bright start for Craig Levine's side. We had a St Johnstone fan in the programme last week. He said Craig Levine has got the worst record of any St Johnstone manager. They were not at all happy at the style of play, not at all happy what they heard from their manager. Craig was very, very flat, you'd have to say, last week. I know Willie spoke to him before the game today. He said they were going to give it a right go and they were off to a flyer and fairly comfortable in the game, Willie?
No, not at this moment in time. I think if they'd taken a percentage of their chances, then they would have been comfortable, because they had numerous opportunities to put this game basically out of sight. It was such a slow start from the home side, but you know, gradually Livingston have got themselves back into the game and have had opportunities. Yenge is definitely causing a problem or two with strong running, and you know, that initial kind of a sparkle has drifted out. The half-time whistle goes here in Livingston, and it is 1-0 for St Johnstone, and Craig Levine will be more than happy with that, but he'll be disappointed that first of all they didn't take the opportunities he created, and secondly the fact that they haven't managed to maintain the momentum they had in the opening exchanges. I would say both managers have got three up top, so it's going to lead to open attacking, hopefully, football, which we've had. We just haven't had the goals to match the chances that's been created.
Still playing in Dingwall, Stephen?
We are, yeah. 3 minutes has gone up, Kenny, and Ryan Leak's just had a header at the back post that Liam Kelly's pushed over the crossbar. So Ross County had probably looked the most threatening since that opening 4 or 5 minutes, yet somehow find themselves 2-1 down, which Stuart Kettlewell will be delighted with. I think they would move into 7th and Ross County would go back into the playoff spot as it stands at this moment in time. But we all know in Scottish football there's lots still to play for, still lots to go on, but certainly Stuart will be delighted with his first half performance, potentially going in 2-1 up.
Yeah, looking at the live table right now, Motherwell top of the bottom 6, and Ross County, as Stephen said, into that playoff spot. They are away at St Johnstone midweek. Full coverage on Open All Mics on Wednesday evening. What a game that is going to be. But County will probably fancy their chances of getting something this game, given the very good home record they have got under Don Cowie. So still playing there, still playing through in Paisley.
Yes, they are. We had a minute's applause for all the St Mirren fans who'd passed away over the last 12 months. It's something they do every year at the start of the game, so that went on and delayed kick-off ever so slightly, so we're behind, but the boards just went up for 3 minutes added on.
Thank you to Rory. The half-time whistle has just gone. Hamilton Accies are 2-1 up against 10-man Alouettes. That means 4-3 to Accies there, and they are waiting to find out who wins that game. Inverness Cali Thistle against Montrose, goalless in the first leg, goalless at half-time this afternoon. Barry Wilson telling us really poor, really pedestrian stuff from the home side there this afternoon. We'll get some reaction from a Cali Thistle fan later in the programme. They are very, very concerned at what could happen to the club if they don't retain their championship status. A chance there?
No, it's a really good challenge by Portales on Shanklin in the middle of the park. Been a good battle between the two. We're into 5 added on minutes. Hearts lead by 1 goal to 0. That Kenneth Vargas goal in the opening period. It's been decent stuff. It has been. It's been not bad considering the weather. It's boiling.
Yeah, a beautiful day out there today. Newcastle United have equalised at home to Brighton in first half stoppage time. Sean Longstaff with that goal, 1 apiece there. Newcastle against Brighton, just confirmation in the lunchtime kickoff, and this affects, of course, a title race. Fulham 0, Manchester City 4. half-time whistles have just gone.
Half-time in Dingle, Kenny. Ross County 1, Motherwell 2.
Thanks, Stephen. Bournemouth 0, Brentford 0, Everton 1, Sheffield United 0, Newcastle United 1, Brighton 1, Tottenham Hotspur 1, Burnley 1, West Ham United 0, Luton Town 1, Wolves 0, Crystal Palace 2. Just while we're waiting another half-times, Leanne coming through. What did you make of the way that Davy Moyes was treated down there? Speculation was rife for weeks that he was going to be on his way.
It's a strange one, isn't it? Look, things happen at football clubs at times. I don't know if we're always privy to the behind the scenes and what's been going on. I think when the sporting director or the director of football came in, I think the writing was always on the wall for Davy Moyes, if I'm being honest. I had a feeling that he probably knew that was what was going to happen. We were down there on our pro licence, which had brilliant insight to the club and the goings on.
Half time in Paisley, 1-0.
Thanks, Rory.
Half time at Tynecastle, Hearts 1, Dundee 0.
Cheers, Al.
I just always think when it's the managers in position before the sporting director or the director of football, that at some point that's going to change because they want to bring in their own person. But you're right, there was a lot of chat, there was a lot of speculation, and I think the type of manager that David Moyes has been over the years, certainly pretty loyal by all accounts from what I've seen in every club that he's went to. But aye, a real shame.
Yeah, I remember actually, maybe it was a year and a half ago, something like that, and I'd asked him to go on the programme. I said, look, next time up in Glasgow, I'll come on, I promise you. And it was about 6 months, 4 or 5 months later, the phone went on a Sunday night. So I'm up seeing my dad, I'll come in. I just thought he's a really decent guy, man of his word. Come into the studio, and he was absolutely fantastic, I have to say, and did a great job for West Ham, of course, delivering them a European trophy. So full coverage to come of the second half across Scotland on Sports, and stay tuned to Open All Mics.
All the grounds, all the goals, all the news.
This is Open All Mics from Sports Sound.
From BBC Radio Scotland. Join Tom English in conversation with Scotland manager Steve Clarke.
The piece of paper I've got has got about 60 names on it.
Can't have 60 names.
Because you have to look at who you've picked before, who you haven't picked, who you might pick.
Runner Lindsay Sharp.
When did you start believing you were good enough?
I won my first British title in 2004.
Former snooker player Alan McManus.
The minute I crossed the white line, I wanted to rip his lungs out.
And racing driver Paul Di Resta.
You won Le Mans, right?
2020 in COVID, so the only picture I've got was when no fans were there, you had a mask on the podium. It could be anybody actually when you think about it. Maybe it wasn't me.
New episodes of This Sporting Life. Listen now on BBC Sounds.
I think I can say this when he's not in the studio. It's a brilliant series, Sporting Life, with Tom English. Some really great characters with great stories to tell. So find the latest episodes there on the BBC Sports Scot website. Let's get down the grounds and let's start at Tynecastle. Hearts are home to Dundee. There for us, Alan Preston.
The half-time score, Kenny, Hearts 1, Dundee 0, and it started early on. Forrest had a shot well saved by McCracken, and then Vargas with a header. Really good play by Lauren Shanklin, clips it to the back post. There's Vargas with a header, McCracken with a wonderful save, beating the ball away. Dundee weren't out of the game. Astley had a header from a corner, and then controversy in 40 minutes when McGowan hit a shot, a hit off Kingsley, and the referee pointed to the spot, which was overturned after a VAR check, but Hearts took the lead. Mackay on the left-hand side chops a couple of times, plays the ball to the back post, and there's Vargas with the outstretched leg, right foot into the back of the net, giving Hearts a half-time lead. So the half-time score, Hearts 1, Dundee 0.
Thank you. Next stop, Paisley. St Mirren home to Kilmarnock. Let's get the half-time report from Rory Loy.
Yes, and it's 1-0 to the outside Kilmarnock at half-time, and on the 13th minute it was St Mirren actually who had the opportunity to take the lead. The ball dropped to Olasanya in the box on the volley. However, he blazed way over the bar, and then a mistake from Gogic just on the half-hour mark. The ball fell to Vassell, he fed it out to Watkins, and he was one-on-one with the goalkeeper and had the corner of the net to find. However, he dragged his shot wide, and then on 36 minutes there wasn't a lot of action in the first half in terms of goal mouth. Mandaron looked to be bearing down on goal. However, a really good tackle from Robbie Dees prevented him from getting his shot away. Then came the opening goal of the game, and the only goal of the game so far. Armstrong stole the ball on the right-hand side. He released Watkins down the right-hand side. He cut back to Vassell, who was the picture of composure. He took a touch with his left, back inside, and absolutely thumped it home to put Kilmarnock 1-0 up. Stephen Robinson was appointed in February 2022, and in 6 attempts so far hasn't actually managed to beat Kilmarnock as St Mirren manager. So it's his 7th attempt today, and they'll need to step things up, Kenny, if they wish to take all 3 points today. So at half time it is St Mirren 0, Kilmarnock 1.
Yeah, no easy thing to beat Kilmarnock, of course, this season. They look nailed on now for 4th spot in the table. A terrific campaign for Derek McInnes and his players, and of course a European campaign to look forward to. A big game for Ross County in Dingwall this afternoon. They're at home to Motherwell. Let's hear from Stephen Craigan.
Yeah, and they trail, Kenny. And I have to say, Motherwell started really brightly. 3 attempts on target in the opening 3 minutes, and that probably set the tone because Ross County looked a little bit nervous. Motherwell playing with that bit of freedom because they're now safe in the league, can't get involved in the playoffs or automatic relegation. And there's no surprise then when they took a lead after 11 minutes. I think the big surprise was the manner of the goal. Liam Kelly caught the ball from a cross ball in his own box. He then fired it through the middle for Blair Spittle. It ran right through to Ross Laidlaw, came to the edge of his box, somehow managed to fumble the ball, and Blair Spittle was there just to tap into the net. It deflated Ross County. They were struggling a little bit. However, within 3 minutes, in their first real attack of the game, they managed to get level. A perfectly timed pass, weight of pass from Ellie King in midfield, just opened up that Motherwell back line. Simon Murray, who's been their main man this season, 12 league goals ahead of today. He strode through one-on-one against Liam Kelly. There was only going to be one outcome, and he managed to put the ball underneath him to make it 1-1. From that moment on, Ross County gained the upper hand. Murray had a chance flashed wide. Ryan Leake had a header. Conor Randall forced Shane Blaney into heading off his own line. And you thought if someone was going to get the 3rd goal in the game, it was going to be the home side. But once again, Ross Laidlaw, unfortunately, has had an absolute nightmare for Motherwell's 2nd goal. Georgie Gent out on the left-hand side. Free kick swung into the box. Laidlaw should comfortably have came and caught the ball from the cross. Somehow managed to drop it at the feet of Paul McGinn, who just tapped in from 3 yards. So Ross County with a little bit of work to do. The last time Motherwell came here, they lost by 3-0. I have to say Stuart Kettlewell was lucky to keep his job. The message seems to be that he could have left. He didn't. They're winning by 2-1. Don Cowie needs a response from his players. Otherwise, his unbeaten home record as manager will go. Half-time, Ross County 1, Motherwell 2.
Thank you to Stephen Craigan. Next stop, West Lothian. Livingston at home to St Johnstone. And there for us, Willie Miller.
Yeah, Kenny, when I was asked to do this gig this afternoon, I thought the most exciting part of it was perhaps a little bit of retail therapy in the designer shopping outlet, but it's been far from that. It's been such a wonderful first 45 minutes with chances galore. Just the one goal, to show for it, but St Johnstone on fire at the beginning of this game. Nicky Clark had a chance. He put it over the bar with his left foot. Stevie May had a really good header coming in from the left-hand side, guiding it towards the back post. A great save from George and goal. And then Sidibe had a header as well. Point blank, he should have done better. He should have put it in the back of the net. But again, George doing extremely well. And that was all before 8 minutes, because on 8 minutes, the goal eventually came. The ball came in from the left-hand side. Stevie May had a swipe at it, miskicked it straight to striker Sidibe, who rifled it into the top of the net to give St Johnstone a well-deserved lead. They had opportunities after that as well. McPherson with a right foot shot just past the post. Another Sidibe header, a very good save once more from George. A right strike just past the post. And McPherson, a long ranger that was quite easily saved. But slowly, Livingston started to get their act together and came back into the game, and they had opportunities as well. Montagno at the back post, a good save from Mitov in goal. Newbley coming in from the right, he's playing up top in the right as we've seen him playing before. Good strike, but it was a tight angle, well saved. And then Yenge had 2 opportunities, again well saved from Mitov in goal. So it's been a sparkling first 45 minutes here, where the visitors lead 1-0.
Well, if you do fancy doing some shopping after the game, Stephen Thompson just messaged me to say he can recommend some shops for you, so I can pass these on. We'll look forward to seeing your wardrobe next week, Willie. See what you're cutting about in. So in the Premiership today, Celtic 2, Rangers 1.
Guide to what shops to avoid, well, isn't it?
Celtic 2, Rangers 1, Hearts 1, Dundee 0, St Mirren 0, Kilmarnock 1, Livingston 0, St Johnstone 1, Ross County 1, Motherwell 2. Let's get into the playoff matches then. Hamilton Accies at home to Alloa. Let's hear from Callum Davidson.
Yes, the home side that go in the lead. at half-time 2-1. It was actually the way team started better, a lot brighter. Taylor Stevens down the right-hand side, he's cut it back, Coulson's fired the net. It was a great start for the visitors. Hamilton came back into the game. Fantastic corner from the left-hand side. Regan Tumulty, unmarked back post, smashed it in the roof of the net to make it 1-all. And then the big moment in the game for me was the 42nd minute. O'Hara breaks down the left-hand side, cuts across, Lou Smith puts it in the roof of the net. In the process, Neil Farallowa gets sent off for saying something there to the overall score here. 4-3 to Hamilton. It's theirs to lose. It's a great position. It will be a bit nervy second half for them. But again, they have the upper hand, and I expect to see them through.
Yeah, they of course had playoff heartache last season, John Rankin's side. Just again, apologies for the line there. A few technical issues. So Callum's having to do that on his phone. I can tell you that is not at all easy. Very hard to hear anything at all coming through from the programme. Let's get to the other playoff match then. Inverness Cally Thistle at home to Montrose, and hear from Barry Wilson.
Yeah, goalless first half, Kenny, in a really nervy affair, it has to be said. The home side, as expected, dominating possession, but they've really done nothing with it in the final third, with 0 shots on target and probably just a 30-yard effort by Alex Samuel after 5 minutes, and a Morgan Boys header after 10 minutes over the crossbar from Akami Harper corner to show for the 45 minutes effort. Montrose, they've been happy to keep Inverness in front of them for the majority of the period. One of their few forays up the pitch, Williamson got in behind Inverness defence. His low cross was turned into the net by Blair Lyons. Unfortunately, the visitors' joy was short-lived, however, as the lively striker just strayed marginally offside. The second half is just underway here. One change for Inverness. Kenny Lowell's came on for Max Anderson. We're just underway in what could be a massive 45 minutes for, well, for both sides, but particularly for Inverness. 0-0.
Yeah, thanks to Barry Wilson there. In the League One playoffs, it is Peterhead 0, Spartans 2. So that's 4-1 to Spartans on aggregate, and Stirling Albion 0, Dumbarton 0, 2-1 to Dumbarton on aggregate there. And in the Pyramid playoff final first leg, East Kilbride 1, Stranraer 1. The second leg takes place next Saturday. So that's you up to date with all the latest score lines across Scotland. In England today, the full-time score in the lunchtime kick-off: Fulham 0, Manchester City 4, Bournemouth 0, Brentford 0 at half-time, Everton 1, Sheffield United 0, Newcastle United 1, Brighton 1, Tottenham Hotspur 1, Burnley 1, West Ham United 0, Luton Town 1, Wolves 0, Crystal Palace 2. 5:30 start. Nottingham Forest are at home to Chelsea. Just looking at the Premiership table, so we brought you that lunchtime kick-off, 12:30 start in the East End of Glasgow. Celtic beating Rangers by 2-1. Celtic 87 points, Rangers 81. Celtic's goal difference plus 59, Rangers plus 52. Just 2 games left to play. Surely job done for Brendan Rodgers' side. Just dipping into the bottom 6. Motherwell top of the bottom 6 as things stand. Hibs are next, just above Aberdeen. They play tomorrow. Full coverage on Sports Sound. St Johnstone, as things stand, have pulled themselves out of that relegation playoff spot. They're on 34 points. Ross County are on 33. They meet at McDermott Park on Wednesday night. Again, full coverage on Sports Sound, and we're also on the TV that night as well. Livingston, of course, they get relegated last week. The second halves are about to kick off across the country this afternoon. We'll bring you all the details, all the goals there. Just one quickie from you guys. You were at that great game, actually 2 great games in the Championship playoffs this week. Who do you fancy now to go through between Partick Thistle and Wraith Rovers?
It's a hard one to call, if I'm being honest. I like the look of Partick Thistle in certain moments. I think I spoke about the goal threat. I just worry about the energy and the exertion that it takes in these games and the quick turnaround and what you're asking the players to do. Going Tuesday to Friday, Friday to Tuesday, there's not an awful lot of time to recover. Wraith Rovers, they've been brilliant all season. They've been really, really good. But there's been moments that they've not been so good. So I think for me, if Wraith Rovers turn up and they perform at the levels that we've seen this season consistently, Wraith Rovers will progress. But if they take their eye off the ball and Partick Thistle are as ruthless as they can be and have the same type of game plan as we've seen it, and even Tuesday night at Airdrie, they had a different system, a different shape to them, and they tweaked it and they saw out the game and they managed it at a different level. Learning from their experiences last season, I think Partick Thistle could shock them. But for me, Raith Rovers will probably edge it.
Brian Graham, Michael, having a wee bit of a pop last night talking about how it's weighted against the teams trying to come up from the Championship. And Billy Dodds spoke about this a couple of weeks ago, because I remember covering the playoff final. They were up against St Johnstone, was at the second leg at McDermott Park, and nothing against the players there, but they just looked dead in their feet.
Oh, I mean, well, obviously the Inverness situation, I remember it well. Then there was, there was a lot of things that went against them. If you remember back to obviously the Arbroath game where they had players sent off. They ended up with, like, I think it was 9 men at one point. It was crazy, and there was a lot of poor decisions in that game. So yes, and you get a wee sense of that from last night as well for Partick in regards to, at no point was that game comfortable, so they were exerting themselves, like Leanne's talking about, like, to the end. There wasn't any point where it was like, all right, well, we can chill out for half an hour here and just see the game out. But having said that, for the team that finishes second in the Championship, I don't think that's a massive, hindrance in terms of you got the 2 games and then going into the final. So, like, I would agree with Leanne that if I was to put my neck on the line, I would probably marginally go for Raith, but we could end up at the end of these weekend's fixtures with getting closer to a repeat of last year's playoff final.
Very much so. Barry, you of course have got experience of it. It's a tough gig for the Championship clubs, Barry.
Yeah, it is. And I'm talking about that run there. I think we beat Partick Thistle over 2 legs, 2 hard ties, and then obviously Arbroath, and as Mike said, we ended up with 9 men and going through in penalties, and we had in the 4 games we had 2 cruciate ligament injuries as well. Shane Sutherland and Tom Walsh, none of the players have basically played again. So it's just the extra strain that it puts on the players, and then obviously,
and what was not a massive squad before as well, Barry.
Yeah, we were, it was definitely a limited squad, and then obviously going to St Johnstone, and we lost an early goal at the start of the second half, and just did nothing left to to try and you go into your reserves, but there was absolutely zero there. And they ran out of puff and they ended up 4-0, and it could have been anything in that last 20 minutes because the boys were just gone. It's so hard. I would love to see it changed. I don't think it will be, but even for the players' sake, I mean, just such a long end of season. 6 games at the end of a 36 game season is a lot.
I was involved in it as well. I think I was actually involved in the very first time it was introduced. It was the year Hamilton went up. They beat Hibs, and as Michael quite rightly says, they finished second that year. And you could see when we played them, we'd actually went to extra time against Queen of the South in the midweeks. We'd played the Saturday, Tuesday, Sunday, Wednesday, and we were beaten 1-0 by Hamilton away. And it's so tough if you finish 3rd or 4th in that league to actually come up through the pyramid system, especially if you're going to extra time in some of the ties as well. So I do believe that it should be made slightly fairer as well on the teams that are trying to get promotion from the Championship.
Zero chance of it happening.
No, you're right. I know that.
Yeah, with I mean, the fact that obviously we got the introduction of playoffs, which I think is brilliant, it meant that to a great extent it was the Premiership teams that were having to give an extra opportunity, whereas before you're in the Premiership, there's only one of you going down. So to open the door up slightly, I think it was as good as could have been expected. Is there an opportunity to weight it differently? I would be astonished if it was revisited, and even if it was, I'd be flabbergasted if the Premiership clubs were to go for it.
To be honest, mate, I've always said, like, fourth in a 10-team league is, you're basically mid-table. I would just take away that. If they're wanting to leave it that way, I would take away the 4th v 3rd and just have it 3rd v 2nd, because you're nearly rewarding mediocrity for finishing 4th in a 10-team league. Not sure that deserves a playoff place, to be honest with you.
No, that's a fair point. On you go.
No, also I think as well as the fact is you play during the season, obviously Championship, you play Saturday. So the bodies are used to playing Saturday, and then you go into that right at the end where you go into loads and loads of games over a short period. Physically, the demands of the players are so hard. For that, I do like the idea of what he said, 4th maybe should be involved in it. It should be just 2nd and 3rd. Would that make it a lot more fairer for the team to try to go up? I've obviously been in the 11th place with St Johnstone. It's really tough mentally on that side. You've tried to stay up, and all of a sudden now you're playing teams who are winning games. So it's difficult for both. It is weighted towards the Premier League teams, which, like Michael said, they've given a place to them. I definitely think the 2nd and 3rd might be an option to look at.
You'll not be saying that next season, Davison, if you're 4th.
There are options out. There are options out there, though. I mean, even home advantage for the team who finishes third against fourth in a one-legged game, and then if you finish second, you get that home advantage in the one-legged, and then the final, of course, you would want over 2 legs. It's the showpiece. So there are options out there to try and make it slightly easier or fairer on the teams.
To limit the games. Yeah.
Callum, who does it?
Chance for Inverness. Oh, it's off the post by Cammy Harper. Lowell broke into the box. He slipped, and the ball just fell lovely for Cammy Harper coming off the left-hand side. And his shot hit the outside of the near post with Gill beaten. Still 0-0.
Yeah, a very nervy game as we're hearing up there from Barry in the Highlands. Inverness, Cally Thistle at home to Montrose. Callum, who gets the job done, do you think? Partick Thistle or Raith Rovers?
I think it's actually pretty even. I think both teams attack. Both teams probably don't defend as well as they could. So I'm going to stick my neck in the line and say there are going to be loads of goals in the game. And I think it's obviously likes the Brian Graham. These type of guys, obviously, you've got obviously Zach and for Raith as well. So there's guys there that can score and create. Defensively, probably not quite as good as they'd like, but they get the goals to get a job done. So I think probably advantage will be with Raith because of the exertion Partick put in. But you know, I've played both teams and both very similar in styles.
2 games that stick out for me over the past year. One being in the studio a couple of weeks ago, the Scottish Cup semi-final, Aberdeen against Celtic, was remarkable. And being in the car last year, Michael, when yourself and Liam delivered that commentary from the game up in Dingwall, I don't think I've ever experienced any. I mean, what was it like being there? That's, as we've all said, the playoffs have brought so much to Scottish football.
Oh, it was an incredible game, absolutely incredible, and you know, obviously bitterly disappointing for all the Partick Thistle supporters that had made their way up. There was a great following, and they were on the cusp of getting into the top flight, and it was snatched away from them, really. So it was. I mean, look, in terms of drama and entertainment, it was right up there. It was a brilliant afternoon. Obviously, it gets that time of year as well that we see, like now, where the sun was out, beautiful day, and the scenes afterwards with all the Staggy fans on the park as well. It was a great game, great to be there and see it live, and well, as I just mentioned, after the weekend's fixtures, it could be a step closer to a repeat of that playoff final. It would be.
Yeah, well, St Johnstone.
It would be nerve-shredding for both teams, I would imagine.
I know St Johnstone fans that are panicking that Theo Bair in the final game will send them into the playoffs.
Well, that would be one of many stories that Scottish football has delivered this season. And I have to say, the 2 games this week on the BBC Scotland channel between Airdrie and Partick Thistle, fantastic. Plenty more to come. The championship was delivered once again this season for Scottish football. Let's get back around the grounds. Let's get to Alan at Tynecastle. Hearts against Dundee. What's happening, Al?
Nothing much. It's a tentative start to the second half. 6 minutes on and it's gone. Not really a chance. It's been a cross from Dodgson, which was comfortably taken by Craig Gordon, and that's really been about it. As I say, it's nice and easy from both sets of players. Played in a good spirit, but still 1-0 to Hearts.
Let's get to Paisley. St Mirren at home to Kilmarnock. A full house there. Rory Loy, what about the game?
Yeah, Kilmarnock fans in full voice. St Mirren a little bit sloppy at times in this second half, giving the ball away. So Kilmarnock just setting traps and trying to spring on them. There's been no goal mouth chances at all. Mark O'Hara did have a crunching tackle on Liam Donnelly. It looked sore. He was down on the ground for a few minutes, but he sprung back up, thankfully, eventually. And he's absolutely fine now as Boyd Munce tries his luck from about 35 yards. I think that's just frustration. Kilmarnock defending well, but not too much to speak about so far in the second half, and it's still 1-0 to Kilmarnock.
You feel Stephen Craig in a really crucial...
Goal in Inverness! Billy Mackay, who else? A corner from the left-hand side. Wallace Duffy was first to it. He glanced the header, and Billy Mackay just come off the goalkeeper Gill, turns it into the empty net. 1-0 Inverness.
Wow, that is a huge goal. Barry telling us how nervy it was up there in the Highlands. Will Inverness, Cally Thistle survive? It's been a tough few weeks, few months for Duncan Ferguson and his players, but the ever-reliable Billy Mackay, year upon year, he has delivered, and he has got a crucial goal for them this afternoon. You feel, in terms of using that word, crucial, Stephen Craigan, for Ross County the next 30-35 minutes. Surely they've got to take something from this game.
For Forrest, he's gone round the keeper. Can he score? Yes, he can. Dundee push up. They think he's offside. I think the left back's playing him on. It's a really good ball. Played up, keeper comes well out his box. Forrest goes round him and from a acute angle rolls it into the back of the net for 2-0. Have a look, I think it's the left back's playing him on. He's over the far side, he can't influence the play at all. Why he's so deep, I don't know.
Yeah, well, it's similar to the first one, you know, first view, and it's a wee small corner of the screen there, but my instinct would be that he's onside, but we'll get a better viewing of it. Yeah, he is, no doubt about it. Yep, left back's playing him on, and I tell you what, you say that, you know, he's on the far side of the park. He's actually with Forrest, who's obviously making that run across the park. It's just lazy defending.
I just track.
It's just lazy.
What about the keeper in that situation? Is he too far out, or is that fair enough covering? Or
well, I mean, it's, you know, it's last-ditch stuff.
Yeah, they've been caught. It almost really reactive. He's trying to close the distance between himself and the back line.
Well,
that a goal?
Chance, Barry? Was it Barry or Callum? I don't know.
Callum, I think.
It's Callum, sorry, I didn't know it was on. It's goal, Connor Salmon for Alloa. They've just had a wee chance before it. 2-2 here. Great comeback by Alloa.
There's been better communication with the moon.
I didn't realise I was on. I thought I was switched off there. So
be careful.
Aye, the dark side.
I was getting excited.
Right.
Big chance here, Kenny. Big chance here, Kenny. Nicky Clark put through early in the second half. He really, you expect him to finish it. You know, it's another good save, you've got to say as well, from George in goal. But St Johnstone started really. Does it hit his hand? He'll be screaming for it, that's for sure. Corner kick from the right hand side, comes in, it bounces up. Is it Nottingham? Not 100% certain. It bounces off the surface. I think it hits his midriff, to be perfectly honest, but it's the far side of the ground. They're screaming for a penalty kick. Will be checked. I'll let you know the outcome.
Right, thanks to Willie there, and confirmation of that goal coming through. Billy Mackay on 59 minutes. Inverness Cali Thistle 1, Montrose 0. That's also 1-0 on aggregate. And Callum bringing us the news there. Again, apologies for the quality of line Callum's having to do on his phone this afternoon. Hamilton Accies 2, Alloa Athletic 2. Alloa down to 10 men, but Connor Salmon with that equaliser on 57 minutes, and that makes it 4 apiece on aggregates, all to play for in that game there. Have you had a chance to look at that penalty check yet,
It's
guys?
not a penalty.
No,
it's in the flayed on.
Yeah.
Aye. No. It was Montagno, and it just exactly like Willie said, it hit him in the midriff. And to be perfectly honest, even if it had hit him in the arm, it should never have been a penalty. It just bounces up. His arms are just, as you would expect, he's just standing there.
We speak a lot about referees, of course, on this programme. We have to. The fans complain about it a lot, Michael. A lot of pressure as it is for all referees each week, particularly for Willie Collum, I think, with that Old Firm game today. What did you make of his performance?
I thought it was fine in the whole.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's nothing that springs out that I think was, you know, ridiculous. No, I mean,
the red card was clear cut. You called it right away.
Yeah, but I mean, and Willie Collum, you know, he gave a yellow, but VAR's looked at it again. And I tell you why he maybe would have just thought it was a yellow, because Lundstrom dives in and the ball goes exactly where you think, you know, he might have clattered into him. And had he got the ball at that stage and then followed through, you could maybe say it was a borderline and you could have maybe understood the yellow card. But when you see the replays, he doesn't get anywhere near the ball. He clatters Alistair Johnson right on the ankle. There's no question it's a yellow card. So. And there's nothing else that I'm thinking of that was, you know, a poor decision from Willie Collum. I think on the whole, he had a decent game. And you know, the penalty kick, I suppose that's the other main one.
Yes. So talk for anyone that hasn't seen it, just talk us through what happened.
The ball gets slipped into the box. Matt O'Reilly is goal side of Diamonde, and Diamonde's leg is then in front of Matt O'Reilly as he's about to then take his next step. Matt O'Reilly throws himself up in the air, which makes the challenge or the coming together less of a foul to me, just because it was a ludicrous dive. Was there enough? I mean, see, just looking at the incident as a whole, was it enough for it to be, you know, saying it was a foul, i.e. a penalty? I'm not sure. But then the fact it was given, I don't think there was ever going to be it getting overturned. Had Willie Collum not given the penalty kick, I don't think there's any way that it would have been given, if you understand what I'm meaning there.
I do, yeah.
That's my thought on it.
I probably agree, very, very close to that. When we looked at it downstairs when I was watching the game before I came on air, there was probably two angles that you looked at and thought penalty, and there was 2 angles you looked at and thought it was Matt O'Reilly that had initiated the contact, or he had kicked Diamandi. So I think the big thing is that Willie Collum was rightly offered the opportunity to go and look at it again, perhaps with the different angles and the different viewpoint, and ensure that he was comfortable with the decision that he'd made. And I don't think it was a clear and obvious error for him to overturn it or feel the pressure or the need to overturn it, because, as I say, you could see it both ways. And I always think when the attacker gets the advantage and is in front of the defensive player, you always run the risk if there's any contact at all. So no, I would agree. I think Willie Collum over the course today, with the circumstances and the fact that he hadn't refereed a Rangers game since the outcry the last time, it probably went as well this afternoon as it could have done for him.
He did a Scottish Cup game, and he's certainly not a top.
Okay,
You're right.
He's not been the top flight.
No, absolutely not.
What I was going to say about the penalty kick, though, was that the replays that were getting shown were terrible, and they were taking forever. Now,
do you think that's what they're seeing, Michael? I wonder.
Well, I don't know, but surely, I know that obviously the experience, we've spoken a lot about this for the guys that are at the game, which is not particularly great because you don't see or know what's going on at all. But for everybody that's home or here that's watching the telly, why are you not seeing what's been...
Let us see, and let's make our minds up on ourselves. Yeah.
And it was so slow, and it was like, as Leanne said, there was a few angles that were like terrible. It didn't show you anything. There was one that was like, all right, that shows you something, and they never showed it again for about, a good period of time.
Go and have a look at this. I think this is a save by Craig Gordon. What a save I think it is. The ball in the back post. Has he saved that?
I think he has he?
Wow! How has he saved that?
We think he may hit the defender. We'll have another look now.
Well, they seem to be sort of clapping hands as if he has saved it, and I'm like you, Alan.
It's at the far end, Michael, for me. But I thought, surely he's not saved that.
No, but I'm like you saying, how is he, if he has? I'm not sure. Here we are. I still don't know, because it's literally happened that quick.
It's certainly come off the defender in the first instance. Has Craig Gordon got a hand? I'm
not sure. I think it just comes off Kingsley and goes behind.
Well, with the Euros coming up, you're claiming it, aren't you?
I'm giving him it. He's in.
Yes. He had it covered.
Say again.
I'm giving him it, the save.
You're right, Mike. It's happened so quickly that it's actually really hard to say. Just a couple of crucial goals coming in here. Spartans. Well, they were 3-0 up on the day to Peterhead. Bradley White on 62, but Danny Strachan had just pulled one back for Peterhead. So on aggregate, Peterhead 2, Spartans 5, and a big goal in the first leg of the Pyramid Playoff final. Stranraer have come from behind. They're now in front. Craig Ross in the 60th minute. East Kilbride 1, Stranraer 2. So let's get back down the ground. So Alan, just give us a bit more detail what's happening at the Tynecastle.
The Hearts are dominating, but although Dundee on the break there, as we've just seen there's a lovely effort from them, and I think it's the defender that's blocked it, but Hearts are in control. Mackay, really good pass for the second goal, composed finish by Forrest. Dundee have had a really good season, they've been excellent, but it's just a bridge too far. And just looking at the stats, Hearts have, since the turn of the year, Kenny, Hearts have only lost, apart from Rangers and Celtic, to Ross County. That has been it, one game. It's been a remarkable run of form from them.
Yeah, he's had a great campaign. It wasn't always plain sailing. Again, we've had Hearts fans in this programme. Watch Stephen Naismith gone. They weren't happy, but a very comfortable third place finish for his team. Let's get to Paisley. St Mirren behind against Kilmarnock. What's happening now, Rory?
Yeah, they had a little chance from a corner. It was created from nothing. It was Scott Tanser with the overhead kick, but unlucky for him, it was straight at the goalkeeper Will Dennis, who held it no problems at all. There was a follow-up shot as well, which was blazed over. That's the only real action I can think of in terms of in front of goal, Kenny. There's not been a great deal of it. Kilmarnock are managing the game, as Derek McKenna's sides do, oh so well. Kennedy and Armstrong in the first half, they were just waiting to spring traps on St Mirren, but this being 1-0 up in this half, they're much more happy to sit back and just wait and let St Mirren give the ball away themselves or try and break them down. So a lot more reserved from Kilmarnock in the second half is what I would say, managing the game and doing it well, because they're still looking, like they can get away in the counter-attack, but a lack of quality in the final third from both sides. Other than that goal from Kilmarnock, I would say it has it at St Mirren 0, Kilmarnock 1 still.
Any sign at all of a comeback in Dingwall, Stephen Craigan?
Yeah, well, Ross County have just went close. Josh Sims, who came on as a half-time sub. In fact, Don Cowie wasn't waiting about. He made 3 subs at half-time. Loic Ayina, Jordan White and Josh Sims all come on. Then in the hour mark, he made another one. Brandon Keller come on. So he's certainly rolling his dice. But Josh Sims, one of the subs, had a nice little snapshot there, saved by the feet of Liam Kelly. But they actually started the second half the way they did the first half. it's as if they give Motherwell the onus and allowed them to come and attack. And Motherwell, a couple of chances, could have made it 3-1, because if it goes 3-1, there's no way this Ross County side are coming back this afternoon. So they need to get the next goal. I know you were going to say to me that they've got a big 25-30 minutes coming up, but they've got a big 5 minutes coming up. If they can get the goal, get themselves levelled suddenly, you know, the kind of the momentum and the ascendancy is with them. But Motherwell away from home have been good this year, Kenny. Out of the other 11 teams in the league, there's 9 teams that have taken points off away from home. Ross County is one of the ones that they haven't, as is Kilmarnock. So it shows you Motherwell away from home are a threat. But at the minute, Ross County pushing and probing, but still 2-1 to the visitors.
Olasanya on the swivel in the box. I thought for a second there it might be flying in. It's cut back from the wide area. I think it was Ryan Strain, and Olasanya swiveled. He got us a good connection on it. I don't know how close it goes. It's difficult to say, but certainly a very decent effort for someone who are threatened for really the first time in the second half.
Yeah, we're just waiting on a replay of that one.
Oh,
Rory.
good effort.
Yes, Al.
Young James Wilson is a young star of the future of Hearts. Young striker. A lot of clubs were after him. Hearts managed to tie him down. He just came on for Vargas. He's running through at the angle. Good hit, good save at his near post by McCracken.
You've had a chance to look at that one. Good contact, Olasanya, wasn't it?
Olasanya, yeah, good contact. Just obviously it goes off target, but it would have been a cracker if it had landed in the back of the net, certainly.
Right, let's get to Livingston against St Johnstone. What's happening, Willie?
Well, it's a lovely day here, Kenny. The sun is shining. I'm sitting with...
Is that good? We're getting a weather update.
It's a bad mistake. Oh, good save, Alex Gogic. You spoke about him earlier, Leanne. He's got a mistake in him. He passes to Marley Watkins in the box. It looks like he means it. And Marley Watkins got a huge chance, but Hemming gets down to make the save, and it's a Kilmarnock corner. It should be 2-0.
Anyway, Willie, back to the weather.
I'll point out the weather, Leanne.
You're sitting in the shade, Willie.
I'm sitting in the shade with a T-shirt. Well, it's one of these designer T-shirts, you know, that you get in the outlet that I was hoping to.
It's like one of these muscle ones.
I've known you for 30 odd years, Miller. It's one of them you would do the dusting with.
We need to see photographic evidence, Willie. Post it.
Fruit of the loom. It's a fruit of the loom.
Never.
Fruit of the loom. That brings back memories. Oh my God, you'd remember
get
that.
Back to the football. Let's get back to the football.
Oh, another good save by Hemming. Kilmarnock really should be 2-0. I think it's not Stuart Finlay. Maybe it's Robbie Dees who gets in it. Right on the 6-yard box and heads it. He should do better. Either side, and it's a goal. Kilmarnock turning the screw now. It's another corner, but it's still 1-0.
Right, sun is shining. You've got a nice T-shirt on. What's happening in the park?
It's not been as exciting as the start of the game or the first half, that's for sure. But I do think my point is that it's a nice day, and I think that is actually taking the toll on the players. You know, we're going about summer football, but sometimes it's difficult to actually cope with the sun when it's beating down on you, and it has been doing that the whole game here. So I think that has brought the tempo of the game just down a little bit, but it's still a very good game of football.
Jan Danda, sorry to come in there, Willie. Jan Danda slipped into the left-hand channel, and he has a shot across goal. Really should do a little bit better. And I know we speak about the firepower that Ross County have. We're talking about Jordan White. He's only got 5 goals. Eamon Brophy, he's now off. Only got 3. Jan Danda's only got 3, but really should have scored. Should have been 2-2.
Chance elsewhere.
Tynecastle, Ryan Howley, the subbits came on, cuts inside, right foot shot for Dundee, just wide of the target. Still 2-0 at Hearts, 65 minutes on the clock.
To pick up on Willie's point, guys, with that hot weather, does it also make that pitch tougher to play on? It's so dry.
Of course it does.
I mean, what is it like playing? I mean, even seem just I know I said this 100 times, but when we see the pictures come into the studio here, it just looks. I compare that, for example, to. So who did I see this? It was Airdrie's pitch.
Yeah.
That's a decent. Is that fair? Decent all-weather pitch.
I don't mind the Excelsior. I think the surface on it's really good. It was newly laid in the summer. And it moves pretty well, but it moves completely different to grass.
Yes.
Still, regardless of what the conditions are.
What's it like playing in that on a dry day?
Not great. Not great at all.
You just can't judge the run of the ball.
They're packed with the Tony macaroni is packed with black rubber crumb underneath it. Really hard to judge the bounce of the ball. When you pass the ball, there's no zip to it. It bobbles when it moves. Unless you're continually wetting that pitch, it's the only time that it would be reasonably
that's the
okay.
thing, Leanne. You can speed a pitch up and slow it down when it's like that. And if you're playing against Celtic, or Livingston are playing against Celtic, there's no way that's getting watered.
Yeah.
Or you just let the grass grow.
If you're the better side. Or, I mean, as I say, if you're playing someone where you're the dominating team, you get it watered heavily before the match and then at half-time again.
The game's completely different. I mean, us at Motherwell just now with the women's team, we play at K Park as our home venue up in East Kilbride, and it's the same synthetic surface as the Excelsior. Now the players are used to it. The ball moves really well for us. We train at the Excelsior as well. We've played a game a number of weeks back at Fir Park, which is brilliant. It's a great occasion, great to get on the pitch for the players to experience that. It was alien to some of the players because the ball moved so different on the grass as it does on the synthetic, because the players are never off the synthetic grass, so they're actually so used to that. The speed of the ball was much quicker. It was slick, it was wet. Honestly, a couple of them really struggled to adapt, and it just shows you, I want us to be on grass all the time. Of course, that's for me what football is, but particularly in the women's game, we only know synthetic surfaces in the top flight.
The AstroTurf, like, yeah, they just look. Some of these surfaces are, they're getting better and better, but there's also a question mark about the health problems. Yep. Leanne's talking about these black crumbs and stuff, and there is a little bit of evidence that suggests that they could be carcinogenic. Now, if that is the case, even if there's a question mark over it, on the basis of health, get rid of them. Yeah.
We asked Neil Doncaster about this last week, didn't we? The appetite now to get rid of the pitches.
Like, the game is played totally different in terms of stability on your feet. Like, twisting, turning, it's not the same as grass. Now, I get, the argument and the counter is in the middle of winter, grass parks can be murder. In the top flight, in general, the grass parks are pretty good nowadays. The groundsmen do great jobs. Get rid of the AstroTurf in the top flight. I'm sorry, I understand the economics lower down as well, but in the top flight, and if we find out that there is health, risks, get rid of it completely. You need to hurry up and find out about these things.
Equaliser for Livingston. Ball towards the back post. Montano that takes it and just slips it as it comes out the air. It's a long, loopy one from the corner. He's unmarked, totally unmarked. He sneaks it in at the near post to give Livy the equaliser.
What a terrible, defensively. I mean,
shocking.
Awful. And by the way, on the whole, I haven't watched the game. They look like they've actually been all right defensively, St Johnstone today. They don't look like they've been, too bad. That is a terrible, from a set piece. He's never marked.
Never.
There's honestly, there's nobody within 5 yards of him the whole time.
And you look at Newbley here at the back area, he literally just blocks. Is it Phillips?
How much blame do you put in the goalkeeper there?
None. No, he's nowhere near it. No.
The thing is, it looks a bit like, is it zonal marking, Willie? It looks to me, again, I'd need to see it again, but it looks as if it's just zonal marking. But when you're in a zone, surely you need to have an awareness of the players that are in and around the danger area. And even for the goalkeeper, I suppose if it is zonal marking, you need to expect that you're probably going to be faced with a shot on goal because your players are not really defending it. But when you're at the foot of the table and you're fighting for your lives as St Johnstone are as well, what a poor goal to concede.
Yeah, if it's zonal, then you're marking the zones, but there's nobody marking that zone at the back post.
That's what I mean, really. Nobody's read it and almost adjusted to the flight of the ball as the ball travels over your head.
And it travels a long way, and it's high in the air as well. It's not as if it's whipped in and you can't adjust it.
Exactly.
And react to it. They just watch the ball coming in. They're all watching the ball, all ball watchers. No one actually looking over the shoulder to see if there might be a danger at the back post, and bang, it's in the back of the net.
It just looks awful as well. And I know what you mean, Kenny, in terms of you're looking at it, because it's not like Montano leathers into the back of the net. It's sort of like it looks a bit of a sclaff.
Yes.
A bit, but
the keeper's probably expecting his defender to do better, isn't
he?
At
the near post, maybe there's, I think it's Cammy McPherson's in front of him. I mean, you can maybe say a wee bit better, but there's a lot of others that you're questioning before you would have a real go at the goalkeeper, I would think.
Well, that's a real hammer blow for Craig Levein and his St Johnstone team. Montano with that equaliser on 72 minutes. East Kilbride have also equalised in that Pyramid playoff final. First leg at home to Stranraer. John Robertson with the goal on 71 minutes. 2 apiece there. Wolves 1, Crystal Palace 2. Cunha with the goal, but right away Crystal Palace, Izzy with the goal. 3-1 ahead for Palace. They're in a terrific run of form. Spartans now 5-1 up away to Peterhead, so they're cruising through that playoff match today. And there was another goal as well that I saw coming in. West Ham United 2, Luton Town 1, coming from behind. Souček with a goal there for West Ham United. Let's then continue down our list. Let's get into the playoff matches. Hamilton Accies at home to Alloa. A cracking game for you there this afternoon, Callum Davidson.
Yeah, it's been really good. Actually, since Alloa have scored, Hamilton have actually struggled to try and break them down. It's kind of spooked them a little bit. I think they're struggling to do any, because Alloa just sitting 2 banks of 4. They've defended really well. Hamilton had a couple half chances. O'Hara near post, Davison a 25-yard shot. Apart from that, there's not really been much. The tempo's kind of died a little bit. I don't know, Hamilton are kind of stuck. What do? Did they go all out attack and cause problems? I think Wales and Taylor Stephen for Alloa have been excellent getting them forward. So it's on a knife edge, this game. It'll be interesting to see how the next 15 minutes go.
Let's get to the game in the Highlands. Another playoff match. Inverness carry Thistle at home to Montrose. The home side with the advantage there. Barry, anything at all for Montrose?
Yeah, do you know, since the goal, Montrose have really livened up. They've made a couple of changes. They brought on Kane Hester, which I was a bit surprised he didn't start. A long ball over the top, and Blair Lyons, got in between Boys and Mark Ridgers, but his touch took it right to the byline. His cutback was cleared, and then only about 3 minutes ago, they had their first real shot on target. Ali Shrive cut in on his left foot, and his curling effort was tucked round the post by Mark Ridgers. So a good response to going behind by Montrose. Inverness have kind of reverted to type after a bright start to the second half.
I think that's the moon calling. Callum Davison come in.
Actually, I can't hear anybody. Goal for Hamilton after me saying they're struggling. Great work down the right-hand side by Lewis Smith. He's jinked past the player. He's gone one way, gone another way, cuts it across goal. And there's Akeem Rose, just come on as a sub. Taps into net. Goal for Hamilton. 5-4 in aggregate.
Anything you like to say about Callum Davis when he can't hear us? He's too nice a guy, isn't he? Actually,
no, he's a good guy. He's a good guy.
He is a good guy.
Neil Armstrong knows his football.
I mean, apologies again, just a few technical issues throughout that game today. The main thing is we are getting regular updates on Callum Davis, and it's a fantastic match.
Hit the bar this time. It's a wonderful ball by McMenamin down the right-hand side. Conor McMenamin, not Colin. And he releases Olasanya, who swipes at it with his left foot. Don't actually know how much control he has. It's more of a swing than an accurate shot, but it cannons off the crossbar. It's difficult to say who's going to score the next goal in this game, if there is to be one, but it's still Kilmarnock 1, St Mirren 0. But that was a big chance.
First chance to look at that one, Liam?
Aye, decent enough chance. As Rory says, just swings a leg at it. Was always rising. Don't think it was ever going to cause too many problems, right enough. But they carry that threat, don't they, St Mirren? Even when they seem out of it. I think listening to Rory this afternoon, it almost seems like Kilmarnock have been in top for the most part, but they do carry a threat.
Just confirmation, Akeem Rose goal coming through from Callum there. Hamilton Accies 3, Alloa Athletic 2, so that is 5-4 on aggregate. A chance?
Hamilton will have a goal.
Yeah, a chance for Theo Bert. Georgie Gent down the left-hand side. Once again, he's been very impressive this afternoon. I remember saying when we first came to Mother, we looked a little bit nervous playing in the first team, but he's really grown into this role as a left wing back. Lovely ball up to the back post. The ball bounces about, and Theo Bert left foot just hits the side netting. But this game's became a little bit stuck, that nobody really wants to go and commit to win it. Ross County are making the changes. They've made the changes, committing men forward, but they're lacking a little bit of quality. It's more kind of desperation stuff, trying to force a mistake out of Motherwell. So as it stands, it's still Ross County 1, Motherwell 2.
A lot of bodies and showing that away support. Just seeing the pictures coming out of the studio there, Crags. They've all got the tops off up there all the day in the Highlands as well.
Ken Elliot's missing you to have your top off as well, and you can go and join them.
Oh, dearie me.
It's one of those ones where I'm surprised there's as many Motherwell fans have travelled, just because they are safe in the league. But the weather conditions, a nice day coming up north. I had to drive up the A9 this morning. It was lovely, all full of bloom and colour, and it was a nice relaxing day up. But yeah, I think a lot of those people have been on the bevy probably since early this morning. They've been on the buses, on the train. So I mean, I don't even think they're watching the game. There's some guy just conducting them at the front. They're just standing and singing. I think actually, if you asked them to score, they probably wouldn't even know. But in case they're listening, your team's winning 2-1.
What's the pub up there again? I got my first taste of it.
It's a Mallard.
The Mallard. We fell up to St Mirren game last season, and actually this season, in December, I think it was. And
I've told you to come out of there.
Yes, I've told you how to experience that place. It's a great day out up and down. A really well-run football club. Will they retain their Premiership status? All will be told in the next week. Just a reminder, that game away at St Johnstone, full coverage on Open All Mike's card for you on Wednesday evening on Sports, and we're on air from 6 on the radio, 7 o'clock on television. On Tuesday night, Rangers at home to Dundee. Again, we're on air at 6 o'clock. Rangers, of course, effectively their title chances over today after that defeat at Celtic Park. Yes,
it's a red card here. Montrose, I think it's an off the ball incident. The linesman saw it. It looks like Blair Lyons has maybe flung an elbow at Morgan Boys. Boys went down inside the box. No many people around him. And Alan Mura's dished out a red card to Blair Lyons, so Montrose down to 10 men and 1-0 down.
Yeah, Duncan Ferguson's side getting the job done today, but of course there is still work to be done for them to retain their championship status. It's been a tough campaign, no doubt at all about that, for the Inverness Cali Thistle fans. We'll be joined by one of their supporters later in the programme. Fans of various clubs coming on from 5:30, and also some music tonight chosen by one of your former teammates, Michael Stewart. I just wonder what this guy was like in the dressing room. He certainly comes across as a very passionate person. Stephen Presley, what was he like?
Good guy.
Yeah. A leader, a winner.
Aye.
What was he like in that dressing room?
Well, you just described it.
Was that what he was like?
Yeah, he was a good guy. Really good guy.
Chance.
Got a lot of time for him.
Yeah, he's a good guy, Stephen, I have to say. Very passionate about his football. So 3 song choices. His music taste, I'm trying to think, I've heard one of them, I got told that he's starting with a classic. He's starting with an absolute belter.
Does he give you an Elvis just for a laugh?
No, he doesn't do Elvis, thank you. No, he doesn't. I'm not sure what the stories are, but I know the first song, and it is a classic. Very good performance on the home side this afternoon, Alan Preston at Tynecastle.
Yeah, it's been comfortable. You know, Dundee just had a chance there. A melon header just wide of the target. Hearts are making changes, bringing on some young. Well, James Wilson's on, as I've said. Oda's now on. Denham, another young kid. Toby Civic, and Scott Fraser, who's up on loan from down south, who's kind of flattered the save since his loan period here. I wonder what's going to happen to him next season. But Hearts lead by 2-0, 79 minutes in the clock. Brilliant play by young Wilson. What a touch.
Good to hear. Let's get to Paisley. St Mirren home to Kilmarnock. What's happening, Rory?
Well, Robinson's made a few subs since you were last with me. Boyd Munn, Scott Tanzer and Ryan Strain have went off. James Scott, Bacchus and Lewis Jimison have come on, but more interested in the Kilmarnock sub. So he's brought in his Cameron on for Kyle Vassell, who looked like he was struggling with an injury, and it just begs the question. I mean, Kevin Van Veen, I mean, he came to Kilmarnock to a fanfare of trumpets and all the rest of it, and he's not really done anything. I know he's not really had an opportunity because Vassell and Watkins have performed well, but any time I've seen him come on the pitch, even if it was for 20-25 minutes, he just looked a completely different player and person that he was at Motherwell. So I can imagine the Kilmarnock fans are slightly disappointed in his contribution since he's came. So Ennis Cameron obviously ahead of him in the pecking order now.
It's an interesting, Stephen, before we come to you about your game, it's an interesting one, isn't it? Because there was a lot of competition. Certainly Motherwell are in, Kilmarnock were in, was it St Mirren, I think?
St Mirren were in, yeah. They were indeed.
And it's just, for some reason, it's just not happened for him at Kilmarnock.
Well, I think when he arrived at Kilmarnock, he hadn't started a game, I think, since October.
Right.
He hadn't played since November. So you're getting a 32, 33-year-old striker who needs to probably play and to be optimum fitness, to be at his best, scoring goals. Kevin Van Veen needs to be loved and cared and taken care of and being told, you're the main man, my team's going to play to suit you. And that's what Stuart Kettlewell managed really, really well last year, because when Stevie Hamill was in, he was playing wide left, he played as a 10, he played as a number 9 sometimes, didn't really get the goals. But Stuart, you know, was kind of fully aware, being in and around the club, he thought, well, he needs to be the main man, he needs to feel important, and just to forget about defending, forget everything else, we'll supply you. And that's exactly what happened, whereas he came to a Kilmarnock side who had 2 strikers who were doing well, and he hasn't managed to get himself into the team. Oh, and Blair Spittle has just scored an absolute beauty. Another one to his collection this season. Theo Baird down the left-hand side. Cut the ball back to Blair Spittle. He just opens his body up, left-hand side of the box, and bends it beyond Ross Laidlaw. That will be 3 points for Motherwell, and Ross County back into the relegation playoffs as it stands. Ross County 1, Motherwell 3.
That's a brilliant goal.
St Johnstone are still in the playoffs, though, if it ends up with a draw.
It's a point ahead behind.
Yeah, they'll be.
So they're a point behind. They are, sorry, that's right.
Just with the draw at the moment.
2 points behind, sorry, they will be.
You can't blame the goalkeeper for this one.
He's had a great season, hasn't he, Blair Spittle? Good player.
He's a good player. He's a good player. Stevie Craigan will tell you as well, like, even from, you know, his time at Ross County, you know, a couple of seasons there where you could really see him coming to the fore. He's a good player. He's a really good player. He's done brilliantly for Motherwell as well. And obviously he's moving to Hearts in the summer.
West Ham United 3, Luton Town 1. George Earthy with the goal on 76 minutes. Spurs have come from behind. Mickey van de Ven on 82 minutes. Spurs 2, Burnley 1. And just confirmation of that goal for Blair Spittle on 82 minutes. Ross County 1, Motherwell 3. Let's get back to Willie Miller through in West Lothian. What's happening there, Willie?
Yeah, it's still a pretty open game here. You know, it's on a knife's edge. I don't think either of the two sides have decided that a draw will do them. So it's end to end. Not too many opportunities being created, and the tempo definitely is much slower in the second half, Kenny. But you know, as the sun has just been pounding these players out here, you know, for the whole game. But you know, there is still intent there to create opportunities. It's ticking away. I don't know if anyone's got the quality in front of goal, to be perfectly honest. Any team has got the quality in front of goal, but the intent is certainly there, but it's still stalemate just now at 1-1.
Thank you to Willie. Let's get into the championship playoff match. Hamilton Accies at home to Alloa. Callum Davison is there for us. Callum.
Yeah, Alloa come back into the game after they've conceded. A great chance from Taylor Stevens from a free kick. He actually, 25 yards out, he hits the right-hand side post. The ball runs along the line, hits the other post and goes out. And then Hetherington, 3-4 minutes later, has a shot save by the goalkeeper. It's a funny one for Hamilton. They're kind of struggling, they're kind of toiling towards the end. John Rankin won't be able to get over the line.
Right, problems in the line there. So Hamilton Accies 3, Alloa 2. So Accies ahead on aggregate. Alloa down to 10 men there. What are you laughing at?
Oh, you didn't get my joke before, but you might get this one. Hamilton will have a problem.
Right, yes, it definitely was worth a second run. I did miss it first time. Apologies. Inverness, Cali Thistle are at home to Montrose this afternoon. There for us on a better line is Barry Wilson.
Yeah, it's still 1-0 to Inverness against 10 men. Montrose were throwing everything at this game. They've just had the one chance, really, Kenny, as I said, the shot saved by Ridgers from Shrive. But let's say Inverness haven't put this game to bed yet, and while there's life, there's hope now. Montrose have got a corner just heading in injury time. 1-0 to Inverness.
And very nervy there. You were saying before the game, a lot at stake in this game this afternoon, Barry.
So much, you know. They haven't been in League One, I think, since 1999, since I played. And way back then, they've been in the Championship with the Premiership, and you know, it would just be a disaster. I think it's 8 years now they've been in the Championship, which is, it's felt bad enough for Inverness and their fans as they just clear this corner. But you know, to drop down further would just be a disaster. You know,
maybe a tough question, Barry, but do you think if they did drop down, so as things stand, to play Hamilton Accies, as things stand, if they did drop down, do you think they could maintain full-time football? I would doubt it. I know there has been the rumours up here, and I hear little quips here and there. There is rumours of part-time football being a possibility. So you know, I think if they dip down at that, they would probably have to look at it. So you know, these players are playing not just for, well, they are playing for their own livelihoods, but you know, even the staff behind the scenes, everything. It's so important that they stay up. Bournemouth 0, Brentford 1, and Wemno with a late goal there on 86 minutes. Right, so all the latest scores across Scotland for you this afternoon. We kicked off in Sports Sound at 11:30 this morning, a 12:30 start in the east end of Glasgow. Celtic 2, Rangers 1, just about over the line, Brendan Rodgers' side. Certainly huge celebrations there this afternoon. There was a lot of drama in that game. There was a red card, a saved penalty, some great goals. That game delivered once again, but Celtic coming out on top. Hearts 2, Dundee 0 into the closing stages. St Mirren 0, Kilmarnock 1, Livingston 1, St Johnstone 1. St Johnstone were going very nice in that game, but pegged back with some dreadful defending there. Ross County 1, Motherwell 3. They'll see this as a missed opportunity. Will County very, very good at home under Don Cowie. Into the Championship playoff match, Hamilton Accies 3, Alloa 2. Alloa down to 10 men, so Hamilton, they are 5-4 ahead on aggregate there. Inverness, Cali Thistle 1, 10-man Montrose 0. Again, 1-0 in aggregate there, so Duncan Ferguson's side on course to meet Hamilton Accies in the League One playoff. Spartans 5, 1 up now away at Peterhead. Peterhead down to 10 men. Spartans cruising there, so they will go through. Stirling Albion 0, Dumbarton 0. Dumbarton with advantage there because they had a 2-1 victory in the first leg. And in the Pyramid playoff final, first leg, East Kilbride 2, Stranraer 2, second leg next Saturday. So all to play for there. All to play for Craig Levine's side after a very promising start. Willie Miller just a bit disappointed they've not kicked on from that. Oh,
definitely, and I'm sure that Craig will be lamenting the chances that were missed in the opening exchanges, particularly if that one goes in. Oh. That was a bit of a screamer there from Stephen Kelly, I think it was, from maybe 20, 25 yards there, just by the post. But yeah, I mean, they dominated that that for most of the first half, certainly the first half hour or so, and Livingston slowly came back into it. They'll also, be looking at the equaliser too and bemoaning the fact that their defending was poor. But on that first half hour, they should have had the game out of sight. They created enough opportunities. They were really dominant, and Livingston so poor as well. I think David Martindale wasn't too happy in the touchline with how his team has started. But it looks as though now, as we're getting to the dying embers of this game, that it's going to finish 1-1.
Bournemouth 1, Brentford 1. Solanke with the late equaliser there. Brentford had just gone ahead 3 minutes prior to that one. Let's get to Paisley. Disappointing for the home fans there this afternoon, Rory, but their big game, I think a lot of their fans felt, was last weekend at Dens Park where they did the business.
Yeah, and they were excellent and well worth the 3 points, but I have to say on chances created, although St Mirren have had a few, Kilmarnock deserved to be winning the game, I would say. A little bit of a flashpoint as well. James Bolton was
4-1.
Yes, Stephen.
4-1, Motherwell. Theo Berry hasn't scored this afternoon, but boys came to the party. He had an assist for Blair Spittle's goal a matter of moments ago, and now he's set up Zdravkovsky down the left-hand side. He could easily have went for goal himself. He gets himself to the byline. I thought he was going to shoot, but he pulls it back into the middle of the 18-yard box. Now Zdravkovsky just to roll the ball into the back of the net. It's turned out all right. Ross County made the changes, but they haven't managed to get themselves back in the game. And it's a hammer blow for
what a save that is.
Full time at Inverness. Inverness 1, Montrose 0.
Thanks to Barry Wilson. Yes,
it's a cross into the box. Craig Gordon doesn't get a great punch on it, goes up in the air. It comes down to a Dundee player. He has a shot, slight deflection. Craig gets back and dives full length to his left-hand side and just knocks it away for a corner. I think that was a challenge. It seems to go through the legs of Rose, I think, and Gordon gets a hand to it and knocks it away for a corner.
Oh, Lasanya's got a chance again here. Leanne Michael watching. I think he's got to score. I am looking through bodies, but it drops to him. And I think he's so close to the goal that he's got to at least hit the target or do better. I think it's blocked. I don't know if you guys had a chance to have a look at it, but he's had a good few opportunities today to bring St Mirren back into this.
See the goals up the road at the Highland League. Up in Dingwall. What's the goal difference now with St Johnstone and County? How's that going?
Right, I'm bringing you up to date with that right now, Alan.
They were level at the head of play. They were both minus 25 at head of play, so there'll be -3. There'll be 3 in difference.
Yeah,
I think it was minus 25, so Ross County must be minus 28 now.
Yeah, and Alan, I think you're going to that game, aren't you? Midweek at McDermott Park.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. I really am. It's going to be some game. It will be. You just think if St Johnstone can get a winner where Willie is, if it's possible, they could then cement their place. There's a chance. Player of the year does it again. 3-0, 90th minute. Lovely ball through. This Shanklin on his left foot knocks it beyond the keeper. Hearts 3, Dundee 0.
That's very nice, really nice. Good piece of play, build up, the movement, the touch. Thoroughly deserves his Player of the Year award, in my opinion. He's been outstanding.
Yeah, he absolutely has. Interesting to see what the future holds for him now, though.
Aye, absolutely. I was going to say no energy spent on the celebration anyway. Clearly it's been sunny there as well.
Yeah, so Dumbarton are through in their match against Stirling Albion. They have done the business today. They will play Spartans in that League One player final.
Oh, he puts it by the post. Oh, incredible.
We've seen it now.
Oh, over the top, does ever so well
to score,
to win the battle. It's just, normally that's in the back of the net. That's the second chance. In fact, that's the third opportunity Nicky's had this afternoon. That's probably the easiest opportunity and so crucial at this time in the game as well. It finishes it. Finishes it. Incredible miss.
Yeah, should have done better. Let's get to the closing stages. Hamilton Accies against Alloa. Callum Davidson.
Yeah, no, happening here. Hamilton's seen the game out quite well. I think there's a couple of minutes left on the clock. Alloa got a chance to chuck the ball in the box here.
Livy has got it. Livy has got the winner. Who is it that gets it? Somebody help me down there.
Just waiting now. We're seeing the replays.
Shinnie that gets it. Wow.
Oh, my goodness.
How the game can turn. How the game can turn so quickly. Huge chance for Nicky Clark at one end. Goes up the other end. St Johnstone all over the place. And Shinnie just slots it into the back of the net. What a blow. What a blow.
Right, I can tell you, we've got a St Johnstone fan coming on the programme later on. We had one on last week. He was saying Craig Levein has a worse record of any St Johnstone manager ever. We also had a St Johnstone fan on the week before. He was questioning whether we go back. He said the football is dreadful. Yes, go.
5-1, Harry Payton, former Ross County player.
My goodness.
They've just collapsed, completely collapsed. The body language, everything about Ross County. Harry Payton just strides into the box, moves the ball from right foot to left foot, coming on the right-hand side of the box, and just left foot rolls the ball into the bottom corner. It's Ross County 1, Motherwell 5.
Stephen, they've collapsed, but knowing now that if they go to McDermott midweek and win, they're safe.
Which is
crazy.
Clearly the players don't know that at this moment in time, but that will be the good bit of news from tonight.
Time here at Hamilton. 3-2, 5-4, not great. Hamilton go through to the final.
Good stuff, good job there, Carl. Not easy when you're on the phone. Hamilton Accies will play Inverness Cally Thistle in the Championship playoff final. Cally Thistle coming through 1-0 at home to Montrose today. Billy Mackay on 59. Is there an offside check there, Willie? There's some sort of check, is there? Yeah,
looks like it.
I think it's just a standard goal check. My
gut is that he's on.
5-1.
It gets slipped. It gets slipped down the line. For I don't know who it was that was running through to begin with, but he was, for me, he was onside. Yeah, he is.
Goal's been given.
I mean, look, the dynamics for midweek just are, ever changing, and it's massive. The result in Dingwall, I mean, that. The crazy thing is, for St Johnstone, it's the sort of crumb of comfort that they've got a side who. That's a doing.
Coming off that today,
negativity there. But equally for Ross County, the result at Almond Vale is their solace of a terrible result. As the guys are just talking about, they're now fully aware that if they go to McDermott and get a result, they're safe. So it's a massive, massive game.
Full time at Tynecastle, Hearts 3, Dundee 0.
Vargas, Forrest and Shankland with the goals there.
No, I was just going to say some pictures coming into the St Johnstone fans absolutely furious with how that game's ended, how it's played out.
Yeah, I was saying that, Leanne. I talked with the fan on last week. Worst record for any manager, talking about Craig Levein. The week before, a guy saying the football has been absolutely dreadful. He was talking a lot about what the club means to him. He's been a sport, and I'll go back a good few weeks, another fan saying he was questioning whether he'd renew his season ticket, regardless of what league they're in, because of the standard of football. We commented last week. I was in here at the time with Tom English and was it Billy Dodds, and there were two things. We watched Craig Levein's interview coming in. It was the body language, but see, when you heard him, it was flat, and I don't like saying this, but it was almost defeatist. If I'm a fan listening to that, I want to hear more.
You want a bit of energy.
Yes.
And looking at the players today, they need energy. Not that they need somebody that's jumping up and down the touchline and being a cheerleader, but what they need is somebody clearly that can help. Whatever's going in day by day at the club, week by week, it's not been good enough. It's why they find themselves in the position in the league table that they are just now. But the reality is, they went up against a side that were relegated last weekend. They should be down in the dumps, Livingston. They've gone and scored a late winner against a team that have had an opportunity to snatch it at the opposite end of the pitch, but their structure out of possession, their desire to go and defend inside the penalty area, for me is non-existent. The goals that they've conceded today are absolutely criminal. You've been done in the counter on the transition, and you've been done from a set piece where there's a player completely unmarked that has had an effort on goal that has managed to sneak in, as well. They described it, at the back post. Two absolutely shocking goals to concede at this stage of the season, when, as I described earlier, you are fighting for your life. And yes, there's fans that are absolutely wholeheartedly invested in that club, and they expect more.
Yeah, and quite rightly so. Worrying times for St John's, despite the fact, of course, there is new ownership coming into that football club. Are you still playing in Paisley, Rory?
Yeah, we're still playing away, but Kilmarnock defending ever so well. St Mirren trying their best, but when the final whistle goes, I expect it to Kilmarnock to win, and they will secure fourth spot with a win.
That performance from St John's in the opening stages, Willie spoke about, it was no bad.
Yes, it's full time. Kilmarnock secure fourth, finishes 1-0 here in Paisley.
It was no bad at all, but Livy grew into the game, and ultimately at this stage it's the result that counts. So as much as the performance was a bit better today, they've come away with another defeat that is just such a bitter pill to swallow in terms of the way that it's transpired at the end there, where Nicky Clark, you're just expecting them to stick it in the back of the net and get 3 incredibly valuable points, and instead they've lost the game. And if where do you start with St Johnstone? It's a tough one. It really is. I think they've got some quality on their side now in terms of individuals. But as Leanne's spoken about there, I'm at a loss as to what it is that they're actually doing day to day. You know, and do you know, here's an important thing for me as well, is that when you look at certain teams, you look at them and you say, you know, energy. Leanne spoke about it before. Now, I look at St Johnstone and I think to myself, you know, they've got players there who are naturally like fit, hungry. You know, they run about. I think about Phillips in the middle of the park, for example. They look tired to me. And I think managers sometimes, certain managers look at teams and they can't distinguish between being unfit and being tired, because they might look the same, but they're very different. And I know that Craig Levein batters teams running and batters them and batters them and batters them. And I just wonder whether it's having a negative effect.
I mean, you made some... Listen, we know your thoughts on Craig Levein. You made that very clear. You made some strong comments. And they were
but it's from a professional...
Yes, but there were fair comments last week.
Yeah.
Absolutely fair comments, your assessment of what you're seeing. Do you think that's what's going on now? That the player... Do you think... Are you hearing that the players are tired? That's what I'm trying to put to you.
I'm talking about what I'm seeing with my own eyes and my own experiences of, you know, of the manager. And he can't distinguish between somebody being tired and being unfit. And if you're tired, the last thing you need to be doing is getting battered with, you know, box to box pitch runs. You know, that's just...
They look mentally tired as well.
It's archaic. You know?
Right, do you know what? We'll hold this because there'll be a lot of St Johnstone fans. I can see that at the game today. They'll get back to the car. They'll want to hear what you guys have got to say. We'll go around the grounds. We'll get full-time reports. We're on since 11:30 this morning. We're with you right through until 7 o'clock. We'll go around the ground shortly, and from 5:30 till 7, we'll get reaction from pundits, managers and the fans. All that to come on BBC Radio Scotland.
All the grounds, all the goals, all